The husband committed suicide. The cause of death for the wife is still under investigation. A Canadian man is accusing an off-duty Chicago police officer of using excessive force during an altercation last year inside a downtown Portillo's restaurant.
He needs to be prosecuted. He's unfit to be a police officer, and he's a menace to other police officers who have to cover up for him.
Terrence Clark filed suit yesterday claiming Officer Khalid Shar should be prosecuted for the beating that happened, he says, in June of 2015. White Sox continue their rebuilding project, and Major League Baseball pundits and those who watch it closely say it's one of the best rebuild jobs ever in baseball. They've dealt center fielder Adam Eaton to the Nationals in exchange for top pitching prospects, including Lucas Giolito and some other right-handers as well. Cubs also add all-star closer Wade Davis to the back end of their bullpen in exchange for outfielder Jorge Soler. The Bulls square off with the Spurs tonight. College hoops last night. Indiana State with the upset of number 15 Butler. Jim Telemonte will not be happy this morning. Tulsa trimmed Illinois State. Northern Iowa slammed South Dakota State, while Louisville smoked the Salukis of Southern Illinois 74-51. The news service of Cabela's. Come to Cabela's Christmas sale. Find great deals for everything on your family's wish list. Plus, be one of the first 250 in line at 8 a.m. on Saturday and receive free giveaway. Don't miss Cabela's Christmas sale. 5:06 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Has America's history been the result of a series of fortunate accidents? Is America great because of dumb luck? In his latest book, Michael Medved argues that something greater has been at work. Divine Providence. Join AM 560's Michael Medved for a special lunch on Thursday, February 2nd at Belvedere Banquets in Elk Grove Village as he tells the story of the American miracle. Get your tickets now at 560theanswer.com/miracle. That's 560theanswer.com/miracle.
My daughter started school, and I find myself worrying if she is getting home safe while I'm still at work. I wish I could check up on her.
Alarm Detection Systems offers remote control of your security system from your phone. Get text or video alerts when someone's at your door. ADS is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
Our neighbor had thousands of dollars in flood damage and lost several items that are irreplaceable. Is there a security solution to receive early warning of an event like this?
Of course. Alarm Detection Systems has flood detection systems alerting you when water gathers in your home, giving you time to react. ADS is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
Hi, I'm Joel Weinberger, owner of Continental Audi of Naperville. An exceptional purchase experience is only the beginning at Continental Audi. Your ownership journey continues with VIP loyalty rewards, concierge service, and complimentary washes, just to name a few. Every day, we provide more than just a great deal on every new Audi. Going on now, during the Season of Audi sales event, we will make your first payment, plus you may qualify for $500 to $5,000 in bonus cash. Continental Audi has over 200 new Audi vehicles to choose from, including the Audi A3, A4, A5, and A6 sedans, and the Audi Q3, Q5, and Q7 sport utilities. Audi is one of the best performance vehicles on the road. Drive an Audi and feel the difference of Quattro all-wheel drive. Drive a Continental Audi and you'll experience the difference a dealership can make. Come in today during the Season of Audi sales event and Continental will make your first payment. Continental Audi of Naperville at continentalaudi.com. Up to $1,500 on select models must qualify. See dealer for full details.
You're on the go, up against life's daily challenges. You're up for that challenge every day, but need to take care of yourself. It's easy to get caught up with your routine and forget how much your body needs to stay properly hydrated to maintain peak performance. From hardworking tradesmen and busy professionals to moms running errands with the kids, many know the advantage to keep up the pace. Introducing MySport. MySport is your key to staying hydrated. engineered by a bioscience company that knows you want healthier choices. MySport has the best hydration elements. You'll ditch those artificial flavors and heavy syrups and add the benefits of electrolytes, B vitamins, antioxidants, and best of all, get rid of that cloudy excuse for a drink you've been calling refreshing. The clear, healthier choice for hydration your body needs is MySport. Now through December 31st, visit misportdrink.com today and save 25% on all flavors. That's misportdrink.com. For healthier lives, MySport delivers more than hydration. misportdrink.com.
5:09. Let's get an update on the roads in our AM 560 traffic center. The Butler Bulldog, Jim Talamonte.
I was hoping you'd
That
miss.
was not good.
I was hoping you'd miss that one, Mike. Oh, I knew you wouldn't, though. The Sycamores, credit to them.
They did.
And now my Bulldogs got Cincinnati next coming up this weekend. So, meanwhile, on the roads, things are pretty quiet right now. The overnight road work is gone for the most part. Still a little construction on the outbound Rhine out of the Bishop Ford in the left lane. No delays there, though. If you're heading to southwest lower Michigan, specifically Berrien County, St. Joe County, in Michigan, you're going to hit some weather, especially now over the next few hours. Right now, things still look pretty good on 94, but the conditions are expected to worsen substantially. There's a lot of snowfall headed to that area. Traffic is a service of Subway. It's time to celebrate the season. Enjoy a holiday spread catered by Subway restaurants featuring giant subs, sandwich platters, and sides. Make the holidays happier. Place your order today. Catering and giant sub orders must be placed 24 hours in advance. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Let's get the forecast from Ashley Benoit.
Mostly cloudy skies today with a few flurries, windy and very cold, high 25. Mostly cloudy and breezy tonight, low 19. Cold tomorrow with clouds and sun, high 25. And some snow for Saturday, high 24 degrees. I'm Ashley Benoit on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently flurries in 22 at O'Hare, 23 along the lakefront, 21 in Aurora. Your next news update, 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And Tiny Dancer called out, Donald, Donald, let down your hair so that I might climb thy tangerine stair. And with that, he scaled to the tower. Who doesn't know his fairy tales? And he scaled the tower and
met with lots
Tiny
of power.
Dancer. Yeah.
Before asking forgiveness from King. Oh, drop mic. I'm out of here.
Kinda
Have a
trailed
great
off.
show.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but he snuck in a little. He did a little pirouette kickball change in through the garage so that none of the reporters would see him. And on the way out, he spoke with the reporters and, discussed why he was there. Because apparently Donald Trump asked him to come to New York during their conversation they had 2 weeks ago when he congratulated him on winning the presidency.
And as Trump is a donor, of course, Tiny Dancer was quick to respond.
Exactly. He donated $50,000 to his campaign that he won't give back. But I was just curious when he was visiting him if he brought with those 2 Trump honorary street signs that they took out on Sunday. Like, here, you know what? We don't really have any use for this in Chicago, but you can put it up on your wall in your office.
Yeah.
Don't you think that
this
would
is
make
a
sense?
gift to you?
It's a gift.
Right.
Yeah, but actually he was there to talk about DACA, and he brought a letter from 16 other governors and the mayor from New York and L.A. asking him not to deport dreamers.
They're trying to achieve the American dream. No fault of their own. Their parents came here. They are something we should hold up and embrace.
Yeah, so students who are here, people who have not broken the law, people who are serving in the military that were brought here by their parents, unbeknownst to them, they want them to stay here.
Mm-hmm.
And my Congressman, Mike Quigley, took it one step further. He wants President-elect or President Obama to pardon all of the dreamers before leaving office.
I thought they didn't do anything.
Oh, well,
which is it?
Well, he's afraid that Donald Trump, when he gets into office, he'll, live up to his campaign promise to, deport 11 million people.
I thought they're not here illegally, and they didn't do anything. So which is it?
312-642-5600.
So you can't threaten to deport people and uproot them from the only home they've ever known, and then go back and, well, maybe we'll look at this.
I mean, so we're talking 740,000 people across the United States that Congressman Quigley and 64 other House members want President Obama to pardon before leaving office.
Sure, 640,000 dreamers, if you will, and I don't know, Jesse Jackson wants a few million ex-cons pardoned too.
There's a lot of letters flowing into President Obama's office.
Just pardon everybody. Just preemptive pardons to 330 million Americans. So we just suspend federal law altogether. Here's a question though about Tiny Dancer.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is this a different Emmanuel? Because they're brothers. It's a bit of a three-headed monster with Zeke and Ari and Tiny Dancer.
Yeah.
So, was this the Emmanuel brother who was the chief of staff to the president of the United States, President Obama, who was the chief proponent of shelving, quote-unquote, immigration reform in the first 2 years when they had control of Congress in addition to the presidency?
When they had all the power.
And they could have done something on this that Tiny Dancer is now so passionate about. Is this the Emmanuel brother, or do I have it mistaken?
No, you've got the right
okay.
Emmanuel.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
But he also mentioned, too, that he will ask Trump, to have Chicago remain a sanctuary city.
Yeah, of course.
And he wanted to make sure that Trump didn't withhold those federal funds.
Yeah.
And also, he touted this. It was a 4-minute conversation he had with the media, and you're going to love this, that grades we're one of the only 3 school districts in the entire United States whose 4th and 8th graders' math and reading scores went up.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to say a shout out this morning to Peyton and Eli.
Yeah.
Because they're
leading the way.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. So those scores had nowhere to go but up.
True.
The Chicago public school system is a conspiracy to not educate children. And everybody who supports Tiny Dancer and everybody who repeats that rap that you just offered up is complicit in disenfranchising the overwhelming majority of 380,000 students, and I want that number audited because I don't believe it's actually that many anymore. But whatever the number is, the overwhelming majority disenfranchising them from the opportunity for success in life because they are not even provided access to the opportunity to earn a quality education. That's actually the record of Chicago Democrat rule of Chicago for the past 100 years.
Well, what about, DACA?
I'm not done with education because we're having
well,
this.
But his main purpose of going.
I don't care what his main purpose is. There's nothing that's interesting to me about Rahm Emanuel. But here's something that's interesting because we have this issue that arose this week with governor vetoing a bill that would have thrown another $215 million of everybody's money at the Chicago public school system. And your Champaign Socialists and Lakeview are all up in arms about it. And I think the CPS may try to litigate the issue, so I don't think this is over. Here, I want to read you something. It's up to the Chicago schools to look internally at ways to cut costs. If they expect to be bailed out by the state, it isn't going to happen. The day of reckoning is coming. I have other school districts in the state to worry about than Chicago's. There isn't $1 billion, I have to tell you, in the budget for new money. You indicated voters don't favor an income tax hike to cover added spending. The mayor of Chicago said, I hope we don't start out the legislative year with a lot of messages that lay the gauntlet down. It's much too early in regards to education. This isn't just a Chicago problem. We want them to take a fair look at the efficiencies we've introduced. Then a spokesman for some goo-goo schools. I sincerely hope the governor's statements today were just that, statements for today. It's my hope that after he steps back and takes a look at the whole picture and he sees that there truly is a funding problem in Chicago, he will change those statements. Who you know who I'm talking about? The governor and the mayor here?
Who that letter's written by?
No, this is a news story.
No idea.
The headline is, Edgar won't bail out city schools. Oh. This is Jim Edgar and Mayor Daley going back and forth on the very same issue with the very same rhetoric from January 20th of 1995. Are you tired of it yet? I mean, we could go back further than 1995. 20 years of the same exact rap from the mayor of Chicago, and frankly, unfortunately, more or less the same exact rap from the Republican governors that we've had in that 20-year period. And what has changed in Chicago? Fewer students.
Fewer students, yes.
That's it. I mean, do you ever get tired of it, Champagne socialists? Art, and on the north side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Well, let me say something. I'm so tired of this immigration BS. And for the simple reason, my grandmother and grandfather came from Poland. They worked their tails off, washing floors, washing clothes. They never got $1,000 in cash. They never got food stamps. They never get a place to live and free health insurance. That's why, what the hell are these people talking about? All these poor people. Hey, they were never given anything. And I'll tell you what, Dan, you are right on with the schools, and I'll tell you why. I always wanted to go and scream about it. I was at the fire department. We go in these schools when they have a fire alarm going on. 8, 9, 10 kids in the class. I said, teacher, where's all the kids? Oh, make sure they're here the first day because they get counted by the government. And the other thing too, Dan, is you're right. They don't teach because one teacher, I stood there with a policeman one day. He said, I'm in these classrooms about 10 times a day. They have more discipline problems. When we went to the Catholic school, the nun would hit you in the head, and you'd learn. Your parents said, sit down and do this. I'm sorry for that. I'm just aggravated. And you hit the nail on the head. They don't teach.
Thanks for the call, Art. But as I understand it from the politicians, we have an overcrowding problem. Oh, the class sizes are too big. Really?
We don't have that problem anymore.
And the whole they don't teach. I mean, one of the problems is, again, the system. It's a system problem, not simply a personnel problem. You have teachers who are not empowered to teach or to instill discipline, to control their class. Bob in Schaumburg.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. Listen, it's a fact. 1 out of every 4 car accidents in the city of Chicago involves someone, no insurance, no license. 1 out of 4.
You're illegal.
Now, it's the dreamers' parents that are breaking the laws. And you know what? The closer you live to the inner city, it's based on zones from State Farm Insurance, the more you pay. Mm-hmm. I think it's crazy. I was hoping Tiny Dancer mentioned that to Trump, because that's one of the things that upset us. Even though we're in Illinois, I know who I voted for.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Bob.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Well, it's a wintry mix out there, that's for sure. Some snow flurries downtown, and it's going to be cold and flurries on and off throughout the day. A high of 25, wind chills in the teens. And then tomorrow, Friday, very cold with some clouds, maybe some sun. A high again in the mid-20s. So winter is definitely setting in. Let's get those travel times and say good morning to Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Better have those winter emergency kits ready in your vehicles, especially if you're headed to southwest Michigan. Berrien County is now under a winter storm warning in effect till 4 p.m. Eastern on Friday. If you're headed that way, prepare accordingly. Right now, it's not too bad. 94 is wide open in that area. Inbound I-57. South of Chicago, we've got delays from US 30 to Volmer Road with a spin-out blocking the left lane. Tri-State northbound, stop and go Halstead to Dixie Highway. There's a car fire there in the right lane. I think slight delays now in the inbound Ryan and the inbound Bishop Ford. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
You haven't experienced Christmas until you've experienced the Ron Hawking Christmas Show. Get ready, it's happening Saturday, December 17th at the Fuel Room at Austin Saloon and Eatery in Libertyville. Ron's high-energy holiday performance captivates audiences of all ages with a fusion of unique personality, music, and class.
This is Ron Hawking, and I hope you'll join us on Saturday, December 17th for the Ron Hawking Christmas Show at Austin's.
The Ron Hawking Christmas Show at the Fuel Room at Austin's. Get tickets now at fuelroom.com.
Mike Rowe here for 1 hour. Today, Chuck is jogging in place to make a point about energy efficiency.
I thought I was training for a marathon.
He's been at it now for...
3 minutes.
And already he's wearing out.
I'm not.
Your heating and air conditioning systems are a lot like Chuck.
Warm yet somehow cool.
Wheezing, wasting energy, and probably headed for replacement.
You're talking about the air systems, right?
Sure, pal. Sure. Call 1 hour before it's too late.
Can you do the disclaimer for me?
Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
Thanks.
AM 560, The Answer.
Do you have a new list of our business benefactors?
I've got a couple additions. My friends at Glenn's Tavern in Old Town are going to join the Business Benefactor Program.
Sweet. And what the Business Benefactor Program does is you make a one-time donation to our charity, Food for the Poor. All of the money goes to help feed and provide clothing, medicine, and clean water to children in Haiti and Guatemala. And then as a way of saying thank you, we give you 40 60-second commercials that will air Monday through Friday right here on AM 560. It's the best advertising deal in all of Chicago radio. To become a business benefactor is Dan's friends at Old Tavern. What's it called again?
Glenn's Tavern in Old Town.
Okay.
And AmericanEagle.com, the website guys, the digital strategy guys, they're joining too.
Oh, good. And we also have Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling, the Wright Real Estate Group, Critical Environments Professionals, Pacor Mortgage Company, and just to name a few. So if you want to be like the cool kids and help children and become a business benefactor, call Michael Mann. You can wake him up. Get ready to write down the number. It's 847-871-1527. That's 847-871-1527. He can answer all of your questions about becoming a business benefactor.
And remember our partnership with Food for the Poor here. Our goal this holiday season to feed and provide water for life for 1,500 children in Haiti and Guatemala that are facing starvation. The overall program, just to give you a sense of scope, that they're doing with all of the Salem stations like ours, 70,000. That's their goal, system-wide, just from their radio program. But this is a charity, Food for the Poor, that's been doing this for 35 years. 95 cents of every dollar they raise goes directly to the individuals in need to provide them the food, the potable water, the other life-saving supplies that are required in these unbelievably poor countries. We talked to Chad Chatme yesterday, who's been down to Haiti a dozen times, and he really laid out in painstaking detail, graphic detail, just how dire the circumstances are in Haiti and Guatemala. And so we want to thank the business benefactors, and we want to thank everybody who's made an individual contribution as well. There have been so many. We're doing very well. We're really happy about it. We're nearing our goal. And if you want to make just an individual donation, don't want to or can't enroll in the business benefactor program, but we're looking for a $50 gift, but whatever you can give, a little bit more, a little bit less. A $50 gift to change the life of one child. That $50 provides water for life and food for a year for a child in Haiti or Guatemala. The number is 855-880-3663. That's 855-880-FOOD. Or on your cell phone, just dial pound 250 and at the prompt say food.
And again, the money raised by Food for the Poor with your gracious donation will purchase and deliver food, water, filtration supplies, vaccinations, which is so much needed right now. They had Hurricane Matthew just, 90 days ago yesterday, and they're really still impoverished. There are very hungry, starving families there. They need immediate help. So please, any donation, any amount would be much appreciated. The number again is 855-880-3663, 855-880-FOOD, or on your cell phone, just dial pound 250. Or for all information, if you want to be a business benefactor or make a personal donation, just go to 560theanswer.com and search for the keyword food. Make a donation on behalf of your well-fed children, your well-fed grandchildren. Operators are standing by. It literally, I donate every year to whatever charity we team up with, but it literally takes 2 to 3 minutes. That's it, to help somebody for the rest of the year. Food for a year, water for life if you donate $50. So thank you so much this holiday season for helping us raise money for Food for the Poor and for the children. And we thank you in advance for your generosity.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Mick O'Rourke, President and CEO of Signature Bank. We'd like to wish you happy holidays from our Signature Bank family to your family.
I'm Kevin Vestuga, co-founder of Signature Bank. There's no better place to be for the holidays than Chicago.
And this is Brian Duncan, co-founder of Signature Bank. Whether it's ice skating under the lights at Millennium Park,
or my favorite, visiting Candy Cane Lane in Lincolnwood to see the Noonan House with the tree magically rising through the roof,
or attending the annual tree lighting in downtown Downers Grove.
We wish you the very best this holiday season from Signature Bank, Chicago's business bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
I'm getting there. Hey, have you ever mistakenly deleted a file and gone into panic mode? Are you still trying to figure out cloud migration? Do you know how to implement a hybrid integration? Well, if you want to save time and money, then let the professionals at Turnkey IT customize a solution that's just sized right for you and for your company. For 20 years now, Turnkey IT has become the brand businesses trust for their IT needs. Why? Well, because Turnkey IT understands small businesses just like yours. With monthly plans available for your team of 100 or a plan customized for your individual system, Turnkey IT has a solution. They even have equipment included if you want to go all in. Their team of professionals help users every day with network monitoring to help desk to on-site support 24/7, 365 days a year. So stop worrying about your technology and let it work for you. Visit turnkey.pro today to see how simple and affordable it can be to focus on your business without worrying about the technical stuff. That's turnkey.pro. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
More cabinet picks, more assurances that Obama's policy legacy will be erased. That's at 5:38.
And then later, how a pussycat helped catch a criminal. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. There is a $20,000 reward out this morning for the arrest of Minquel Lembrick. He's the man who allegedly killed one police officer and wounded another in Georgia.
The Georgia Bureau of Investigation and the Federal Bureau of Investigation are offering a $20,000 reward for the arrest of the suspect in this case.
GBI Director Vernon Keenan, America's police officer Nicholas Smar, and Georgia Southwest State Officer Jody Smith responded to a domestic call in an apartment complex yesterday near the school. Smar was killed. Smith was flown to a regional hospital where this morning he fights for his life. Donald Trump blasting the president of Carriers Steelworkers Union after he said the president-elect lied about terms of the deal to keep factory jobs in the U.S. Yesterday, Chuck Jones says Trump was off when he made his big announcement. Jones says the real number of jobs saved was less than 800. In a tweet, Trump later said that the union was to blame for initially losing thousands of jobs in Indiana. Officials in Tennessee say 2 are being charged in connection with the deadly wildfires in the Great Smoky Mountains. The 2 are juveniles. The fires left 14 dead. Federal judge has stopped the presidential vote recount in Michigan after hearing arguments about whether the effort is worth the cost to taxpayers and whether Green Party candidate Jill Stein has any standing to demand a recount. Former astronaut and U.S. Senator John Glenn is hospitalized. Ohio State University hospitals say Glenn has been getting treatment at the James Cancer Hospital for about a week. Chicago police are holding a suspect after what officers say was the 5th incident in the last 10 days of someone firing at police. Mayor Emanuel says he had a good meeting with President-elect Donald Trump yesterday in New York. Governor Bruce Rauner says he wants Democratic leaders to present him with a budget proposal to end the 18-month-old stalemate before meeting again for another round of budget negotiations. White Sox continue their rebuilding project, and boy, they continue to rebuild well. Dealt center fielder Adam Eaton to the Nationals in exchange for more top pitching prospects. Cubs and back-end All-Star Wade Davis to close in their bullpen. Bulls square off with the Spurs tonight at the UC. The news service of Cabela's. Come to Cabela's Christmas sale and find great deals for everything on your family's wish list. Plus, be one of the first 250 in line at 8 a.m. on Saturday and receive a free giveaway. Don't miss Cabela's Christmas sale. 5:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
I'd say the same thing to a billionaire that I would say to somebody making $30,000 a year.
The Joe Walsh Show.
The money you make, the money you earn, the money you invest, that's your money, damn it. And I think it's your duty, it's your right to do whatever you can do legally to limit what you give government, because we have a government that's too damn big.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Come to Cabela's Christmas sale and find everything on your family's wish list. Plus, the first 250 in line at 8 a.m. on Saturday receive a free giveaway. Don't miss Cabela's Christmas sale.
Hey, you've heard how Automated Systems excels at assisting companies with systems integration and FDA compliance. But they're also a staffing leader. They supply handpicked elite leadership, subject matter experts, and proven technical professionals in engineering, quality control, and FDA compliance to support the life sciences field in executing mission-critical projects. ASI provides highly specialized pros to deliver projects on time and budget. Don't pay a lot more to a big consulting firm, and don't trust the big temp agencies to supply the talent you need. Call Laz, my friend Laz at Automated Systems, when failure isn't an option. ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life sciences companies, from big pharma to startups, and excel through a culture of excellence in execution. For a staffing, compliance, or automation evaluation, call Laz now at Automated Systems at 844-HIRE-ASI or visit AutomatedSYS.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI or AutomatedSYS.com.
5:36. Let's get an update on the roads in our AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Northbound I-57 traffic is stop and go from US 30 to Vollmer Road, where spin-out has the left lane blocked. Down Bishop Ford, seeing delays farther north from 115th to the Ryan, 24 minutes already from 8094 to the Merge. The Ryan is 18 minutes, 95th to downtown. Eden's fine, Kennedy as well. And Bud Eisenhower, a little sluggish, 17th Avenue to Des Plaines Avenue, about a 1-minute delay. Stevenson okay, but it's building past Cicero. Northbound Tri-State, heading from Holstead to Dixie Highway. A car fire there has 2 right lanes blocked. Traffic is a service of Subway. Purchase a $25 gift card from Subway restaurants this holiday season and receive a free 6-inch sub on your next visit. Limited time only. Additional charge for extras, including deluxe subs, plus applicable tax. Prices and participation may vary. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Quite cold, a few flurries, high 25 today, cloudy, breezy, and 19 overnight. Flurries and 21 at this hour at O'Hare. Next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, powered by Tandem HR and sponsored by Everett College Funding. Heard Sunday evenings at 6.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, more additions to the Trump cabinet, more intellectual assassins. I mean, this cabinet is something.
Call them pollutants. That's what people are saying about Scott Pruitt, the Oklahoma Attorney General.
When you say people, you mean radical leftists.
Radical, well, not radical. Champagne, what do you call it?
Champagne socialists?
Yeah.
Well, that's okay.
That he's a polluter and that he's
a polluter.
He's going to drill, baby, drill everywhere. Yes.
He's the Attorney General of the state of Oklahoma. How is he a polluter?
They said his views on global warming don't fit their views on global warming.
Yeah, okay. Well, Dan Pfeiffer, a former senior advisor outgoing senior advisor to President Obama, in his usual measured response, said that Scott Pruitt poses an existential threat to the world. Existential threat. The world's going to end with Scott Pruitt at the head as head of the EPA. Now, Dan Pfeiffer, to be fair, he's the same individual who said the law was irrelevant with respect to the IRS illegal targeting of people based on their political and religious beliefs. So, I mean, some context there. But yes, the left's heads are popping off as they continue to.
I got a letter from my congressman saying that his statements about rejecting global warming is fearful for this man-made creation of global warming.
We'll talk to Sterling Burnett from the Heartland Institute to talk about the science at the bottom of the 7 o'clock hour with respect to climate change. But we've talked about this at length. And let's talk about the politics a little bit. I mean, I can't figure out if Trump is Chauncey Gardner or at least as political intuition goes, he is a savant. He does Pruitt, but he does it along with John Kelly, a 4-star Marine general who's going to be the head of Department of Homeland Security, lost a son in service to our country in Afghanistan. His position on Gitmo, General Kelly's, stays open.
Oh, yeah, keep it open.
And then
Give them something to fear.
A lesser position, not a cabinet position, but it's just interesting. Then he picks Linda McMahon.
Can you do the voice, the WWE?
Can I do Linda McMahon impersonation?
No, introduce her as you would be, if she was on the WWE circuit.
Like
and now, Linda McMahon.
You're not going to be replacing Mean Gene Okerlund. I'll tell you that right now. Oh, man. How about a little Randy Macho Man Savage?
Okay.
May he rest in peace.
Oh,
yeah. That's how you do it.
See, much better.
Yeah.
But she spoke to reporters outside the Trump Tower. She's excited.
The meeting went great. It was really nice to be up, and I was honored to be asked to come in anytime I think the President-elect of the United States asks you to come in for a conversation. You're happy to do that. We talked about business and entrepreneurs and creating jobs, and we talked about SBA, and so we had a really good conversation.
Are you looking for a job?
Well, that remains to be seen. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
So WWE fashion, teasing you along.
I mean, WWE,
awesome.
It's a huge business, and she was an integral part of building it and running it. So, and she ran for U.S. Senate in Connecticut twice, lost twice, tough state. But so it's just interesting. But so Linda McMahon, Scott Pruitt, and General Kelly all on the same day. And I mean, this cabinet that he has put together, there's really not a sour note, in my opinion. Even the selections where you can have an argument about, like we've had an argument with some of our guests about
Ben Carson.
Ben Carson at HUD a little bit, General Flynn as NSA a little bit, but you can even some people not over the moon about Steve Mnuchin as Secretary of Treasury, but they're all kind of positions, with the exception of maybe Flynn, but that's kind of that's really a kind of a side issue, that all this fake news stuff with his son. That's kind of been handled with the dispatching of his son from the transition team. But those kind of questionable calls, arguably, calls that are being argued, I suppose, within center-right circles, they're kind of, they're not central. And but I got to tell you, he has a lot of intellectual firepower in this cabinet thus far. I mean, you have a lot of individuals who are really about system change, almost doing 180s across the board. I mean, think about Dr. Tom Price at HHS, 180s across the board, and that's why the left is so hysterical, because they know what a Scott Pruitt at EPA means. And, oh, by the way, there's rallying to the defense of EPA. One of the most, this is, why we lose, especially in this city. The most curious responses to this was from Scott Stantis. You know Scott Stantis?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, you do. He's a cartoonist for the Tribune.
Oh, yeah.
Political cartoonist. His political cartoon, this appointment, is the logo of the United States Environmental Protection Agency with a flower in the center, but in that the bloom on that flower is an oil derrick. And Stantis writes in explaining his cartoon. This is supposed to be, a conservative at the Chicago Tribune. This is what conservative passes for in Chicago. Why we're an outlier. I am no tree-hugging, save-the-snail-darter kind of guy, but on many things I believe there's a middle ground. I like jobs, but I also like to breathe clean air. I drive a car and heat my home with fossil fuels, but I also enjoy clean drinking water. Perhaps Mr. Pruitt will walk this middle ground, but his record would argue against it. His record would argue against opposition to clean...
Power plan.
Clean drinking water? He's opposed to that. His record would argue against clean air. He's opposed to that. And is there somebody who is actually opposed to clean drinking water and clean air? This is like having a conversation about K through 12 reform, and one side likes teachers and one side doesn't. That's how juvenile and sophomoric and embarrassing the argument that Stantis makes as a conservative offering the left position and the quality of the intellect behind that position. It's absurd. It's absurd. Yeah.
Well, they're just mad because he supports the Keystone Pipeline.
Yeah, okay.
And he has sued the AP. So now he's going to head an agency that he has sued several times.
So what?
As Attorney General. No, I don't have a problem with it.
Right. I mean,
we're in the consensus of the world's climate science that the Earth is warming and that it's man-made, and he's not buying into it.
That's not the consensus. No, it's not. That's a misstated talking point of the left that has no evidentiary basis. And we'll get to the science when we talk to Heartland Institute. Okay. But that is a canard of the left. Oh, the debate's over. There's so much nuance to this issue that's lost in these one-sentence talking points that are implanted in the minds of these champagne socialists so they can say one thing and pretend they sound smart at a cocktail party. They're idiots. And here's something else about this whole, because this is one of the arguments that's coming about Pruitt, too. Oh, he sued the EPA, now he's going to lead it.
Oh, I don't.
That's so absurd. Is it? So wait, let me understand.
Donald Trump's being audited. Now he's in charge of the IRS. It's awesome. I think it's great.
Right. So
it's a sweet little victory. It's a little jab.
Well, but just work the logic of it. So we shouldn't elevate anyone who has sued to restrain the power of the federal government? Or is that a qualification to elevate somebody to be a cabinet secretary?
Maybe that's part of the reason why I picked him.
Yeah. You want to assure that every federal office expands its power? Take the position that anybody who sues the federal government is disqualified from serving in the federal government. You want to ensure that our shared sovereignty does not survive? Take the position that Scott Stantis takes in his silly little cartoon. And it's so funny, too. You know, this is one of the things that the kind of Vichy Republican set always do. Look, I'm now liberal, but I'm a liberal. Hey, I want to hear somebody one time, all these surrender Republicans that we have in this state. I want to hear somebody say, I'm no liberal, but. Well, you never hear that. I mean, excuse me, I'm no conservative, but this, right? And take a conservative position. Well, when do you hear the left say, I'm no conservative, but here's the conservative position on the issue, or a conservative position on the issue? Here, I'm breaking from left orthodoxy. Rarely, because they're sharing a brain on the other side, and it's not a particularly functioning one. But when we have enemies inside your perimeter, starting from the premise of the left without basis, without any thinking through, without any response to the arguments we've offered here, challenging the basis of his contention, it's just so tiresome. And that's why Trump is so refreshing. I mean, like I said, I can't tell if it's all brain strokes or if it's...
Or is there somebody behind? Is it Steve Bannon? I mean, is this the work of Kellyanne Conway, Bannon?
I think Steve Bannon has a big role here.
Rents?
I think Steve Bannon is playing a big role here with some of these selections. I don't think there's any question about it. It's very, and remember kind of how Steve Bannon has been described and how this may be playing out, kind of Donald Trump's alter ego. Mm-hmm. Somebody that he trusts, instincts that he trusts. And by the way, Bannon is an animal. And I mean that as a compliment. I mean, he doesn't need to be on the Sunday talk shows.
No.
He doesn't need to be quoted in the press, doesn't care. I mean, and it actually adds to the intrigue and, of course, the boogeyman quality of him for the left.
The Wizard of Oz.
Right.
Who's the man behind the curtain.
Right. That he is not front and center, but you can see evidence of his handiwork in these selections. And I think Pruitt is one of them. And I couldn't be happier with the pick. I mean, if Trump takes a kind of a hands-off approach, look, I'm surrounding myself with good people, and I'm going to let them do what they do on these issues. I understand what their viewpoint is. I largely share it, and I am going to unleash them on these agencies. EPA, all these agencies, right, are protectors. Oh, are they? Have you heard about the water situation in Flint?
Yeah, where was the EPA there?
It was government decision-making at the local level, government negligence at minimum at the state EPA. Again, why do we need 50 state EPAs and then we need an overarching EPA? We always need layers and layers of the same bureaucracy with the same charge, these redundancies. How about the mine in Colorado that they blew up, polluted? I can't remember the scope of the damage, but it was massive. No culpability there. But because they wear the cloak of protectors of the environment, and we're for clean water and we're for clean air, these straw man arguments as if there's somebody railing against clean water and clean air, then they're given a pass, certainly by the left, because it's just a power grab, but even by surrender Republicans like Scott Stantis. I'm glad for all the kind of lack of philosophical foundation Trump has. The one thing he hasn't been so far, and I don't think he's going to be, is a surrender Republican.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
And later, he hasn't been ruled in, but he hasn't been ruled out. Mitt Romney, Secretary of State. Donald Trump spoke yesterday about Mitt Romney. Today, mostly cloudy, breezy, some flurries on and off throughout the day, a high of 25. When you factor in the wind, though, it's chilly out there, so bundle up. Wind chill in the teens. Let's get those travel times with Jim Talamonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Northbound I-57, we're seeing delays from US 30 to Vollmer Road. There's a spin out still blocking the left lane. Farther north, 57 is 5 at Bishop Ford. Slow going, 115th to the Ryan, 30 minutes, 80-94 to the merge. Edens and the Kennedy are still okay. Mount Eisenhower, 32 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound fine at 29. Stevenson, 39 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 18 minutes, 95 to downtown. Northbound Tri-State slow, Chicago Road to Dixie Highway. There's a car fire blocking the two right lanes. Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Mortgage rates have dropped again. In fact, recently, mortgage rates have dropped to the second lowest level in history. Now is the time for you to take advantage of these historically low rates and save serious money every month by refinancing your mortgage. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is all the way down to 4.125%. APR, 4.82%. Call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN to see how far we can lower your mortgage payment. For 6 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the third year, they also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. It's a great time to refinance with Quicken Loans and save hundreds every month. This ultra-low rate of 4.125% won't last long. So call 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
The most recent U.S. Supreme Court decision on the Affordable Care Act made one thing certain. We will all have to deal with this ever-changing law until at least 2017. If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. That's right, your own health insurance mentor. See Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating AM 560 listeners on the Affordable Care Act for the last 5 years.
Thanks, Dan. From now until January 31st, you cannot be denied coverage based on a pre-existing condition. Aetna, Coventry, United Healthcare, and Harkin Health no longer offer health insurance subsidies even if you qualify. One company still does, and they still offer plans that provide access to Northwestern Memorial, University of Chicago, and Rush University Medical Centers. Call me. I can help.
Thanks, Steve. How can our listeners get in touch with you?
They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, we're talking about Trump's cabinet picks. Steve Bannon, alter ego behind the scenes, having influence. I think I see evidence of Bannon's influence with selections like Scott Pruitt, the Oklahoma Attorney General, to be the EPA administrator. I mean, he's no Lisa Jackson, Right.
Lisa Jackson. Oh, that's right. She was in.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
How'd that work out for her? You want to talk about specious emails? All the wonderful selections from the scandal-free Obama regime.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan in Forest Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Amy. Hey, I generally agree with what Trump has been doing, but Steve Bannon did make some interesting comments a few weeks ago. I think it was a CBS interview, and he basically said he was quoted as saying that conservative Republicans are going to hate us, and that's because he basically said he's all for $1 trillion infrastructure rebuild, and he said with negative interest rates, this is the time to do this. So I think we potentially could see some pushback from the conservative Republicans, and it could be the Democrats that are actually going to be voting for all of this stuff with the more moderate Republicans.
Well, thanks for the call, Jordan. I mean, here's the thing about that. So there's going to be things that we don't like. We've already talked about some of them here. He's not even president yet. His kind of one-off deal-making with particular companies to keep them here, like Carrier in Indianapolis. And his charge to advisors, get me a list of all the companies looking to leave the United States and build a facility overseas. I'm gonna call them all individually. I mean,
or tweet about them.
You can't negotiate one-off deals with companies across the Fruited Plains. It's silly.
Well, he did because he was watching nightly news, and they interviewed one guy who said, "Trump, please save us. Please keep our jobs here."
Yeah,
so then he went into action, and in actuality, it was only 800 jobs that he saved. But still, that's a solid amount.
Yeah, but the point is this: the point is there's going to be things, shovel-ready projects, another quote-unquote, infrastructure stimulus, like what Jordan in Forest Park was talking about with his infrastructure, $1 trillion infrastructure plan. It's $1 trillion, I think, over 10 years. It's not quite as big, and it's mostly tax credit. It's not out of pocket, so it's a little bit different. But still, your point is well taken, as is the point about his protectionist trade policy. But here's the flip side of that. Everything I've heard is front and center when they take office is reducing the corporate tax rate to 15%, cutting it by almost 2/3. That's substantial. So I think you're going to get a lot of good if you're a free market conservative like me or like Jordan in Forest Park. And you're going to swallow some things you don't like, and Trump has telegraphed those things. But he's done something very interesting, hasn't he? He's essentially shedded the Republican Party brand, and it allows him to be the president of the working man who put him in office, the Rust Belt types who put him in office, blue-collar types, right, and yet still do things that it would have been very difficult for a Mitt Romney to do because he's seen kind of as an effete, detached billionaire, even though he's not. And that is to do like structural tax reform to substantially reduce the corporate tax rate, which is what really will keep companies here, because that is long-term. I mean, a tariff could be long-term too, but I mean, that is long-term structural reduction in the cost of doing business in this country that makes it much more attractive to stay here, to expand here, to locate facilities here, to attract foreign investment here. So I think you're going to get some things you don't like. That there's no question about that. There's things we got from Reagan that I don't like. But I think by and large, thus far, including with the personnel he's surrounding himself with, man, this looks pretty good.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
You're never too old to learn something new, especially when it concerns your golden years. Join North Shore Capital Group at their retirement educational classes held at local colleges in your community. Each class is an interactive workshop that's held over 2 sessions and includes a workbook for you to keep and follow. Instructor Victor Rigoni will provide you with the tools and guidance to help you reach your personal finance retirement goals. At the end of the full class, you'll receive an opportunity to book an independent, complimentary consultation so that you can implement a proper retirement strategy. It's never too late to educate yourself about retirement. Call North Shore Capital Group, 312-260-7929. That's 312-260-7929 to find a workshop near you. North Shore Capital Group Incorporated, an independent firm with securities offered through Summit Brokerage Services, Inc., member FINRA SIPC, and advisory services offered through Summit Financial Group, Inc., a registered investment advisor. 847-735-9200, 250 East Illinois Road, Suite 201, Lake Forest, Illinois, 60045.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. I feel like at least 50% better so far. I'm not as fatigued because I do construction work, so I normally get knocked around a lot. And I'm like 60 plus years old, and I'm still doing it. And I can start beating guys half my age now.
With the tremendous success of Dr. Howard's free set of fruits and veggies giveaway and the 120-day health challenge, this holiday season we are doubling down. Call now and see how you can get your free month supply of fruits and veggies, plus a month's supply of fiber and spice, over a $100 value, free. Give the gift of health to yourself and loved ones, perhaps the greatest gift you'll ever give.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
WIND Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. It's a role he's new to as President-elect Donald Trump will today console victims of an attack in Columbus, Ohio. Those injured by a student at Ohio State University who drove into a crowd, then stabbed people before being shot by police. Then it's off to Iowa for another post-election Trump thank you rally. He's also continuing to build his administration. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, retired General John Kelly is a president-elect's pick for Homeland Security Secretary. Known for being tough on illegal immigration, General Kelly ran the U.S. Southern Command. He's also the highest-ranking officer to lose a child in combat, his Marine son killed in Afghanistan. The president-elect also named Oklahoma Attorney General Scott Pruitt, a climate change skeptic, to lead the Environmental Protection Agency. Mr. Trump selecting Linda McMahon, co-founder of Worldwide Wrestling, to head the Small Business Administration. Dave.
Rachel, there is a hunt for a fugitive in South Carolina the morning after a jailbreak. Fox's Tanya J. Powers is on the case live.
Michael Allen Williamson is on the run after escaping McCormick Correctional Institution last night just before 9 o'clock. A few hours later in Columbia, South Carolina, a police officer was stabbed at a Walmart that's about 80 miles away from the prison. Police believe Williamson is to blame for the stabbing, but they're still investigating that. Now, the officer is recovering. Williamson is serving a life sentence. They're not sure how he escaped, Dave.
Tanya, 2 juveniles charged with arson in Tennessee accused of starting a wildfire that killed 14 people and burned down or damaged more than 2,000 homes and buildings around Gatlinburg. District Attorney General James Dunn says they'll consider
the possibility of seeking a transfer of these juveniles to adult criminal court.
And Dolly Parton has organized a charity event to help victims displaced. The U.S. Surgeon General is calling e-cigarettes an emerging public health threat to the nation's kids. And a report out today acknowledges the need for more research into the health effects of vaping. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
This morning we have chilly conditions and some scattered snow showers, 21 degrees at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago police are holding a suspect after what officers say was the 5th incident in the last 10 days of someone firing shots at police. Last night, no one was hurt in the Gresham neighborhood when someone fired at officers. A suspect was brought in for questioning. Mayor Emanuel says he had a very good meeting with President-elect Donald Trump yesterday in New York City.
My grandfather came to the city of Chicago as a 13-year-old 100 years ago. Chicago was a sanctuary city for my grandfather. His grandson today is the mayor of this city, which is a testament to the strength of the values and the ideals of being America.
The pair discussed White House operations, as you heard, immigration, transportation, and education. A doctor who coordinated the treatment of 14 suburban Chicago high school students who became sick after eating gummy bears says she believes that candy was laced with marijuana. The doctor, Jennifer McNulty of Edward Hospital, says she came to that conclusion after talking to students and observing behavior. On Tuesday, police said they had taken a 17-year-old into custody for his alleged involvement in the incident. But on Wednesday, police did not provide any updates on the investigation. Chicago Public Schools Inspector General Nicholas Schuler claims the school board is stalling an investigation involving the district's top lawyer. The IG's office has been looking into whether a $250,000 contract awarded to the former law firm of CPS General Counsel Ronald Marmar was a breach of the school board's ethics policy. Republican Governor Bruce Rauner says he wants Democratic leaders to present him with a budget proposal to end the 18-month-long stalemate before a meeting again for another round of negotiations. And police are searching for 2 suspects accused of abducting and robbing a man at gunpoint in Buffalo Grove. Authorities say the victim was approached by 2 men Monday night near Buffalo Grove Road and Dundee Road. The pair ordered him into a vehicle. Then they drove to an ATM where he emptied his funds. The man was able to run away after handing over the cash. White Sox continue their major rebuild project, dealing center fielder Adam Eaton to the Nationals in exchange for several top prospects. Cubs adding all-star closer Wade Davis to the back end of their bullpen from the Royals. Bulls square off with the Spurs later tonight. The news service of Hum by Verizon. Hum by Verizon is all the smart technology you need to upgrade to a safer, more connected car. Plug it in for amazing features like emergency assistance and vehicle diagnostics. Upgrade your car with Hum today at hum.com. Hum, put some smarts in your car. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager is excited for our future.
The picks have generally been superb. I'm actually excited for America by the picks for his cabinet. Very, very important stuff who he has around him. There is no conservative who could have made a better cabinet. There is none. And I think that the credit needs to be given there.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Men, if you're like me, you appreciate the feeling of a clean, smooth shave from a quality blade. The sort of shave that cuts clean without the burn. So why are you messing around with generic razors that cost $32 for an 8-pack when you can shave with Harry's high-quality German-engineered blades for half the price? And because Harry's is so confident in the quality of their blades, they'll send you their most popular set, complete with a razor, one of their world-famous blades, shaving cream, and post-shave balm for free if you cover shipping. A total value of $20 at no cost to you, with code 1158 at checkout. Their way of saying thank you for trying them. How is Harry's able to save you all this money and still give you the best shave you'll ever enjoy? By owning the factory that manufactures the blades. That's how. Go to harrys.com now and enter code 1158 at checkout to claim your free trial set and post-shave balm. That's harrys.com, code 1158.
It is 6:06, and we get a check of the roads in our AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the northbound tri-state, we're seeing delays from the Bishop Ford Freeway up to Dixie Highway, where a car fire has 2 right lanes blocked. Some road work on the Adams Tollway in both directions. The Displays Oasis and Chewy. No significant delays at the moment. About Kennedy, heavy out of the River Road toll to Cumberland. 21 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 20. Edens is fine. Now Eisenhower, 34 minutes, Thordale to the post office, southbound 29. Stevenson, 40 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 24 minutes, 95 to downtown. Bishop Ford, 26 minutes, 115 to the merge. Traffic is a service of Account Temps. The 2017 Salary Guide is here. Check it out for instant access to the up-to-date salary forecast for more than 400 accounting and finance jobs where you live. Visit them at AccountTemps.com. Account Temps, a Robert Half company. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answers continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Let's get the forecast with Ashley Benoit.
Mostly cloudy skies today with a few flurries, windy and very cold, high 25. Mostly cloudy and breezy tonight, low 19. Cold tomorrow with clouds and sun, high 25. And some snow for Saturday, high 24 degrees. I'm Ashley Benoit on AM 560, The Answer.
Flurries and 22. Next news update at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Thursday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
We were surprised by the outcome of the election, and I'm not sure what the right analogy would be, but like a punch in the stomach, let's say. Soul crushing might be another description.
I don't think it's appropriate for me to be owning stocks when I'm making deals for this country that maybe will affect one company positively and one company negatively.
They're trying to achieve the American dream. No fault of their own. Their parents came here. They are something we should hold up and embrace.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, it's interesting to see how Hollywood, the entertainment industry, continues to react and chime in about Trump's election. Because it's not uniform, the opinion. For example, last week, Mark Wahlberg essentially put out a public notice to celebrities, hey, people don't care what you think. This just in. They don't care what you think. Well, stop talking about politics. Nobody cares what you think. They watch you act in a movie, and then they look somewhere else for informed opinion about policy and politics. Get over yourself.
Local commentary.
Gene Simmons.
Oh, I love Gene Simmons.
Oh, yeah. He says it's time for celebrities to, quote, shut their pie holes about the election. Simmons says the height of foolishness to care what celebrities think. He said America is at, quote, the brink of insanity where some people might even consider it a good idea for people living in Malibu to decide our foreign policy. He's funny. And he's married to Shannon Tweed.
Gene Simmons is?
Yeah. You didn't know that? He's been married to Shannon. He's been with her for like 25 years.
He's cheating on me?
No.
Oh.
Sorry, I didn't.
Too soon.
Don't blame the messenger. I thought you were more of a Paul Stanley girl.
No, I'm a Gene Simmons.
Are you?
I met him once, and I would show you my tongue, but it would be wildly inappropriate. But
please
Gene
don't.
Simmons and I have a lot more in common than you think. You know why his tongue is so long?
You're both Jewish?
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
No, we both have extremely long tongues, but his is long because he cut this thing. He cut that out so that would go
like a serpent.
This thing.
Oh,
that string that
the string
ties your
that ties your
the tendon
tongue
that ties
to the
your
bottom
tongue
of
into
your
the
mouth.
bottom of your mouth.
Yeah.
Cut that.
Interesting Gene Simmons factoid. You only
But
get
I
that
didn't
at
need
Chicago's
to,
Morning
I didn't
Answer.
need to cut mine. Mine's just fine. It's really kind of
Interesting
an anomaly.
Amy Jacobson factoid, too. Boy.
Well, everybody has a quirk, right? Like some people can move their ears or wiggle their nose or.
A lot of people don't watch the live stream, also don't know that you put on face paint every day. Like
well,
Kiss.
I'm not wearing enough of this. Is all body paint.
Uh,
But I have an extremely crazy long tongue. That's all. We'll leave it at that.
Gene Simmons said celebrities should basically shut their pie holes, do what they do best, act, sing, tap dance, all that kind of stuff. That's good stuff.
What you kiddies do.
Now, Denzel Washington, he blasted the media. How about this? Blast the D.C. press corps, the mainstream media, choose your moniker, for selling BS. If you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you do read it, you're misinformed. So Denzel was pretty good. He was the subject of a fake news story.
Oh, what did they do to him?
They just falsely claim he switched his support from Hillary to Trump. He said Denzel, one of the effects of too much information is the need to be first, not even to be true anymore. So what a responsibility you all have to tell the truth, Denzel told a gaggle of reporters. In our society, now it's just first. Who cares? Get it out there. We don't care who it hurts. We don't care who we destroy. We don't care if it's true. Just say it, sell it. Anything you practice, you'll get good at, including BS. Wow. Denzel putting it between the eyes of the D.C. press corps there. I like that.
You know, I saw that story. I didn't really believe it, that he switched from Donald Trump, or from Hillary to Donald Trump, because it's fake news, which, by the way, according to your Pope, your little Catholic leader there.
Yes, my little Catholic leader.
Yeah,
yes.
that is a sin to create and promulgate fake news.
Pope Francis is becoming a little bit like Donald Trump. He's wading into like whatever he sees on TV. I mean, does he watch as much TV as Trump does? Why is he wading into all of these kind of below the fold political issues? It's bizarre to me. Hey, here's an idea. Hey, Pope Francis, what do you think about the heartbeat bill that's going to Governor Kasich's desk in Ohio? Why don't you weigh in on that? Because, protecting innocent life, that's sort of one of the charges of the church and of its pope. I'd like to hear commentary on that, not on
fake news, and that it's a sin.
Fake news.
We're going to change the 10 Commandments.
Right. We're going
to. We have an amendment to the 10 Commandments. Thou shall not promote, create fake news.
We're going to have a biblical convention, and we're going to amend the.
Yeah. What else do you want to throw in there?
Okay.
Thou shall not tweet before thou thinks.
Now, the flip side of David Letterman interviewed Tina Fey for.
I thought he retired.
He did, but he interviewed her for the Hollywood Reporter, kind of a one-off interview. He said that he is full of apprehension and self-loathing, said Letterman after Trump's victory. He said that Trump is, quote, the number one struggle of humanity. The number one struggle of humanity. Tina Fey added, in a world where the president makes fun of handicapped people and fat people, how do we proceed with dignity? Yes, when I think of Tina Fey, I think dignified. She went on to make the Hitler comparison, of course. I want to tell people, if you do two things this year, watch Idiocracy by Mike Judge and read Leni Riefenstahl's 800-page autobiography. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Now this.
When she compared Trump to Hitler, what did David Letterman say?
No, he made a joke about it. He said that Riefenstahl pioneered sports photography as we know it. Oh boy. And then he went on to say, well, he's the Fuhrer, he's my president, I'll make films for him. That's what David Letterman said about it. Everybody who disagrees with me is Hitler. That's the deep thinking and the kind of cheap comedy you get from Tina Fey and David Letterman. Shows you, again, how good the writers are that work for them to make them appear funny from time to time. And then there's this story about Matt Damon. The Hollywood stuff, it's culturally influential. We got to reference it. These people have impact.
Well, they have power, money, and fame.
I like the fact that you have.
Listen.
I mean, that people have impact, but then to Mark Wahlberg's point, to Gene Simmons' point, they have impact, but they have impact in terms of I like to see them, as Gene Simmons said, act, sing, tap dance, all that kind of stuff. Not tell me what to think about how a free society should be ordered, but. This is interesting, too, because then we get into the identity politics in Hollywood, which is a reflection of the larger society. The whitewashing in movies. Matt Damon is the subject of some controversy because he stars in an upcoming movie called The Great Wall, which is directed by a Chinese director. He plays a European mercenary brought to the Great Wall by the Chinese to defend it against monsters that are attacking it. So this is not historically accurate.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's a fantastical movie, and he plays a European mercenary, but nonetheless he's being accused of contributing to whitewashing. In other words, the use of Caucasian stars over actors of other ethnicities. So, for example, if you I don't know. If you had Tom Cruise play The Last Samurai, for example.
Yeah.
And so what do you think of the whitewashing, though? Can a white person play a non-white character? Can a non-white person play a white character? If we're talking about historical accuracy, is that possible?
It happens all the time.
Well, I know, but is it wrong? Because that's what the social justice warriors are saying. There's another one, another problem in Hollywood. Zoe Saldana's character in Gamora in the new movie Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, she doesn't have a speaking part in the 2-minute trailer. And that is drawing the ire of feminists who basically say that, look, she's just there to be the girl. 2 male characters get to be funny while Gamora, the Zoe Saldana character, remains silent, and that's sexist. This is what we're talking about. Honestly, this is where this all leads. And you don't think it insinuates itself back in the private marketplace outside of the entertainment industry? Of course it does.
So they're complaining that she doesn't have a speaking role in the trailer?
In the trailer. Yeah. She's right. She's just there to highlight the feelings in a scene where two male characters get to be funny while her character remains silent. Yeah. They're also criticizing the lack of merchandise, Gamora merchandise, where stores were stocking the male characters, but not Gamora, the female character, because everybody's sexist. What about that? Did you have a problem with, again, going back to the underlying question, like extending the role beyond the race or even gender of a historical character? Was it wrong when, what's her name? The great actress, blah, 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 blah.
Give me a movie. Give me a character she played.
Blue Jasmine, Aviator. She played Katharine Hepburn.
Oh, come on, not Kate Winslet.
No. Oh, gosh, I'm blanking on her name. But she played Bob Dylan in a biopic on Bob Dylan.
Oh, she did?
Yeah. Is that wrong? Is that
crossing the boundaries? No.
Is that like reverse chauvinism of some sort? There's a popular play you may have heard about, Hamilton. Is it wrong when black actors play the roles of Thomas Jefferson and Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton? Is that wrong?
Kate Blanchett.
Kate Blanchett. Yes, exactly. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is that? I mean, it can go both ways. Paul Mooney, who's a comedian he used to be on Chappelle's show. Great show. He's very funny. He says, "Let me get this straight. You got Brad Pitt as the Mexican. Yeah. You got Tom Cruise as the Last Samurai. I got an idea for a movie, Hollywood. How about the last black person on Earth starring Tom Hanks?" Andrea on the South Side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi. Good morning. I love your show.
Thank you.
The reverse was true with one of my favorite movies, The Shawshank Redemption. The character Red was an Irishman in the book. He had red hair, and that's why they called him Red. But in the movie, he was played by Morgan Freeman.
Right.
Nobody had a problem with that.
Well, Morgan Freeman's Irish. That's why there's no problem. Yeah. Thanks for the call, Andrea. That's a good one. Bill on the North Side.
Yeah, they did a story about Michael Jackson's life. They could have a black kid play him as a young kid, and then later in life they'd have a white guy play him when he lightened up his skin.
Yeah, they could have Sammy Sosa play him.
And the same with Bruce Jennings. They could have a guy playing him in the early years as an athlete, and then they have some woman. That can play
that's
him
right.
So then the actors they all get jobs. It's wonderful.
That's very, very inclusive. Thank you for that suggestion, Bill. Or you could have Kate Blanchett play both Bruce Jenners, Bruce and Caitlyn Jenner, since she's shown her range across gender. What about that?
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Winter is definitely setting in. We're going to have a wind chill factor in the teens today. Some flurries on and off. Just make sure you bundle up. And then tomorrow, Friday, it's going to be cold with some clouds, sun, a high again in the mid-20s. Let's get those travel times. Here's Jim Delamonte.
Thanks, Amy. Northbound Tri-State got delays from the Bishop Ford to Dixie Highway, where a car fire has cleared. Farther north, it's heavy now from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue curve. Eastbound Adams Tollway, slow Barrington to Roselle, and from the Tri-State to the Kennedy. Edens, 21 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 19. Kennedy, 24 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 21. Eisenhower's, 40 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 31. Stevenson, now 45 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound it's clear. Ryan, 24 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57-5, Bishop Ford, 26 minutes, 8094 to the Ryan. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Dan Proft here, gentlemen. This time of year can be exhausting and stressful, but if you feel a lack of energy or motivation, no matter what time of year, it's time to get your testosterone levels checked. I was just out at Low T Center recently, got my levels checked. Saw my friend Brian, who runs their office out there in Burr Ridge.
And
it was just as advertised, 20 minutes in and out. And, the good thing about Low T, too, is if you don't need it, they're not trying to close the sale. And Brian says, look, I'm not going to recommend it if there's no issue. I'm not going to try and fix something that isn't broken.
And do you have an issue?
You know, that is a violation of the HIPAA laws, and I'm going to I'm making a citizen's arrest. Mr. Stripling, please, my sergeant at arms, please escort Ms. Jacobson from the premises. So as I said, Low T makes it easy. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and with the convenience of their on-site lab, you know your results in about 20 minutes. So if you're drinking coffee or energy drinks just to get through the day, or if you always feel like you need a nap after lunch, you may have Low T. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy, raise your cholesterol, and cause weight gain. Low T Center accepts most health insurance and has flexible hours, including Saturdays, so don't hesitate to find out what your number is. I'm glad I did. Call my friends at Low T Center today and tell them Dan Prof sent you. Again, their Low T product is FDA approved. It's important to note. Not all of their competitors are. Call 630-409-4305. That number, 630-409-4305. Again, 630-409-4305, or visit, lowtcenter.com.
A storm is on the horizon, and you need to keep the lights on no matter what. Your business relies on the power being on 24/7. It's the lifeblood of your data and computer systems. Weather-related outages from the power company are not acceptable. Your need for a source of power that's reliable 24/7, along with round-the-clock service that can dispatch technicians to your site immediately, is mission critical. Your business needs Charles Equipment Energy Systems on speed dial. These are the big boys, not residential or solar, but reliable industrial generators for emergency backup or events. When you need more than a 100-foot extension cord plugged into a small engine generator, call Charles Equipment Energy Systems. They keep the lights on with rental generators for job sites or power outages. Stay warm this winter. Plan ahead. Call now to prepare generators for winter storms and potential power outages. Call 630-834-6000. That's 630-834-6000 or charlesequipment.com. charlesequipment.com.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity. No one attains greatness without risk. After 4 decades in real estate development, Donald Trump knows this. It's true for America, too. Trump broke through in the Rust Belt because he understands something that escaped both effete establishmentarians like Mitt Romney and champagne socialists like Hillary Clinton. That something is not everyone wants to be an entrepreneurial capitalist, and not everyone wants to put their skinny jeans on one leg at a time, throw a novelty T-shirt over their androgynous upper body, and ride their skateboard to some loft space where they code apps all day. And something else. That's okay. It's okay to want to work a diligent, honest 40-hour work week and be able to support one's family and live a comfortable life in so doing. There's nothing wrong with Mike Rowe's world of dirty jobs. There is something wrong with an entitlement mentality that demands special provisions from the government necessarily at the expense of others. There is something wrong with lambasting a rigged, two-tiered system right up until you are the beneficiary. Replacing one set of rent seekers for another ensures only that America works for those who don't. What's great about that?
Each year, as the holidays approach, it can become harder and harder to buy for that person that has everything. Penn Ultimate Rare Books offers a unique gift-giving opportunity for exactly that kind of person. They house the world's largest private collection of Ayn Rand's manuscripts, signed first editions of Ayn Rand's fiction and nonfiction titles, along with rare signed documents and photographs. Penn Ultimate Rare Books also offers a carefully curated selection of signed and rare books by champions of freedom, free enterprise, and capitalism. From Thomas Paine to Thomas Jefferson to Thomas Sowell. Unique signed Einstein to unparalleled signed Ayn Rand. Learn more about these rare, unique, and historic books by visiting PENUltimateRareBooks.com. Give the gift of signed history this holiday. The world's largest private collection of Ayn Rand's manuscripts, plus signed first editions and landmark books in all fields of achievement and free enterprise. Turn your page in signed history with a unique gift this holiday season. Find it all at PENUltimateRareBooks.com. That's PENUltimateRareBooks.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, now we're talking about this quote-unquote whitewashing in movies. So Matt Damon, I forgot to mention this, it's okay for him. He's not a whitewasher by playing this role in this new movie, The Great Wall. But he said, when I think of whitewashing, I think Chuck Connors playing Geronimo. That's whitewashing, and that's unacceptable. No, it's not.
Well, what's the difference? What is he talking about?
Matt Damon is a liberal goof. This is why you don't pay attention to him. You enjoy his acting. You don't pay attention to his movies, but you don't pay attention to him otherwise. I mean, how about John Wayne as Genghis Khan and the Conqueror? Is that wrong, too? How about Sean Connery in The Wind and the Lion? Was that wrong? Matt Damon, answer me. Philip in Blue Island, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, what's the guy that wanted to play 007? Idris Elba, I think that's his name.
Yeah, Idris Elba. Mm-hmm.
Right. And just because 007 is, it's a made-up character, he got a whole lot of backlash for even having the audacity to think he can play a white, quote-unquote, white role. Then we look at history, we look at Jesus, we look at Moses, we look at Noah, we look at all those biblical figures. But every movie that comes out of Hollywood, it's either, I can't think of all these old white guys' names, but it's always a white guy. And so when black people look at these things, it's like when we look at 007, then we look at Jesus.
I don't remember the backlash about the idea of Elba playing 007. I'd have no problem with that. He's a great actor.
But no, maybe not you, but there are some folks out who look at 007 as this heroic white man.
Well,
but for a black man to be the hero, there's always a problem for white people when there's a black hero.
Really? Oh, really?
Don't speak on my behalf. I don't feel that way.
Who's attending Hamilton? Just black people?
But then if he speaks to the vice president in his nod of character, then they got a problem with the whole production.
Oh, come on, Philip.
No.
Come on.
Minimize and downplay. So the play didn't suffer because of this black actor speaking out to the vice president-elect?
The play sold out for the next 20 years, Philip. Thanks for the call.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Change in the market shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. In fact, since World War II, we've seen a correction on average about once every 18 months. That's why Arlington Capital Management developed proprietary tools that help them to see what's beyond your investment horizon. Like an experienced ship captain uses tools to avoid stormy weather, Arlington Capital Management uses tools to guide you through market corrections before it's too late and help us decide when to capitalize on opportunity. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 to learn how their active management systems can help you. Each day, they actively explore the market, our economy, and all the variables that affect your investments. Stormy markets never cloud their vision. The professionals at Arlington Capital Management use their tools and experience to guide them. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 for a financial review. The number again is 855-471-5796 or learn more at arlington-capital.com.
Hey guys, check this out. There's a brand new technology that's going to drive your wife or girlfriend wild. It's probably not what you're thinking. It's even better. It's called Micro Velvet, created by the PJ experts at Pajamagram. And it's found only in their Tempting Touch PJs. Tempting Touch PJs are simply the softest and most luxurious pajamas ever imagined. They are addictively soft, and they beg to be touched. So go to pajamagram.com and get her the blissful comfort you know she deserves. This is a higher level of soft, softer than her sweetest dreams and yours. They're tempting to wear and tempting to touch. And when she's happy, you'll be happy too. A holiday gift has never felt this tempting. So you don't even have to wrap because every Pajamagram includes free gift packaging. Christmas delivery guaranteed. So visit pajamagram.com. That's pajamagram.com. Or call 1-800-GIVE-PJs. That's 1-800-GIVE-PJs. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson.
Unintended benefit of a Trump presidency. Liberals have lost interest in procreating at 6:36.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
21 degrees outside. Donald Trump continues his thank you tour in Des Moines, Iowa tonight. Tomorrow, Grand Rapids, Michigan. The converted warehouse where 36 died in a fast-moving fire Friday has not been inspected in 30 years. That's word from Oakland, California's planning director. A Georgia police officer killed has the killer of that officer on the loose today. The reward for that man's capture is growing. Authorities are now offering $30,000 for the arrest of a man accused of killing one police officer in Americus, Georgia, and critically wounding another. Federal judge has stopped the presidential vote recount in Michigan after hearing arguments about whether the effort is worth the cost to taxpayers. Dozens of current and former CNN employees yesterday sued the company for racial discrimination. Class action suit was filed claiming black employees are consistently fired and denied promotions more often than their white coworkers. Lawyers say the discrimination has been going on for decades. Chicago police are holding a suspect after what officials say was the fifth incident in the last 10 days of someone firing shots at police. Mayor Emanuel says he had a very good meeting with President-elect Donald Trump yesterday in New York City. Emanuel handing Trump a letter urging him to continue President Obama's policy, allowing some immigrants in the U.S. illegally to remain in the country. Comptroller Susana Mendoza here in Illinois says the state employees that were promised bonuses will now have to wait to receive them during the ongoing budget impasse. White Sox continue their massive rebuild project, dealing center fielder Adam Eaton to the Nationals in exchange for some of the top pitching prospects in the minor leagues. Cubs are adding all-star closer Wade Davis to the back end of their bullpen. Bulls square off with the Spurs later tonight. The news service of Hum by Verizon. Hum by Verizon is the smart technology you need to upgrade to a safer, more connected car. Plug it in for amazing features like emergency assistance, vehicle diagnostics, vehicle location, speed and boundary alerts, and more. Upgrade your car with Hum today at hum.com. Hum, put some smarts in your car. 6:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity says we need to listen to our defense specialists.
In this Ohio State attack, you had a Somali man, Abdul Artan, a student at the university, Somali refugee. And I kept saying, well, why aren't we listening to our National Intelligence Director, Clapper, and our House Homeland Security Chairman, McCall? Because they all said radical Islamists will infiltrate the refugee populations.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Come to Cabela's Christmas sale and find everything on your family's wish list. Plus, the first 250 in line at 8 a.m. on Saturday receive a free giveaway. Don't miss Cabela's Christmas sale.
Rain, sleet, and snow are coming to threaten your visibility and turn your commute into a battle. But the Michelin Man is ready to protect you with Michelin Stealth Wiper Blades. Exclusive SmartFlex technology makes these blades flex to the curve of your windshield, giving you the best wipe possible and streak-free, long-lasting performance for safer driving. Winter is coming, and when it arrives, be ready. Michelin Wiper Blades. It doesn't get any clearer than this. Available at Walmart, Pep Boys, Home Depot, and other fine retailers.
Mike Rowe here. Today I'm with Frank, one of the heating and cooling pros at 1 Hour. Frank's got his head up a vent right now. How's it going up there? Frank knows what he's talking about. He's been with 1 Hour for how long, Frank? 14 years. That's a long time. Over that time, he's worked on tons of different equipment, taken countless hours of training, and that makes Frank the man.
No, Mark Rowe's the man.
I'm sorry, Frank. Say again?
Mike Rowe's the man.
I heard him the first time. For any heating need, call 855-1HOUR today. Say it again, Frank.
Mike Rowe's the man.
That's what I'm talking about. Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
Did you know that if you have mutual funds in your IRA, 401k, or investment accounts, that according to Forbes magazine, you could be paying as much as 3.17% in hidden fees every single year? 3.17% may not sound like much, but over 10 years, it's costing you 32%, whether your fund is up or down. Hi, it's Tom Fortino of the Alpha Wealth Group in Chicago and host of the Alpha Wealth Hour on AM 560. This is just one of the reasons I hate mutual funds, and you should too. You may not know this, but you have far more investment options today without the excessive fees. Learn what they are in my free report, The Truth Behind Mutual Funds. What you learn may shock you. To get your free report, The Truth Behind Mutual Funds, call 630-519-4742. There's no obligation. That's 630-519-4742.
Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
6:38. Let's get an update on the roads. AM 560 traffic center time. Here's Jim.
Like 8094 has westbound delays from Burnham Avenue up the Tri-State to Dixie Highway, where a car fire has cleared. There are some milder delays farther north, and then from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue curve, it's very slow. Eden's 30 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose outbound 22. Kennedy, 33 minutes, O'Hare to downtown outbound 29. The Eisenhower's 42 minutes, Thorndale to the post office outbound 32. Stevenson, 46 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. We're high at 25 minutes, 95th downtown. Traffic is a service of Napa Auto Parts. This winter may be nasty. Good thing the folks at Napa Auto Parts can prepare you for it with Napa ProFormer Beam Wiper Blades. Now up to $6 off when you buy a pair. That's Napa know-how. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Offer expires 12/31/16. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte. AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Cloudy, breezy, cold. A few flurries and a high of 25 today. Currently 20 at O'Hare. Again, flurries across the area this morning. 22 at Midway, 19 in Aurora. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Saul Z and the Z-Team Realty. They guarantee to sell your home in 59 days or they'll sell it for free. Log on to callsaul.net for details.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, on the left, you've got Keith Ellison, the congressman from Minnesota, running for DNC chair.
Yeah, and what's his name? What he publishes with? Hakeem?
Keith Hakeem, right?
Keith Hakeem.
Yeah.
So is that his real name, or is Ellison's his real name and that's his ghostwriting name?
Yes,
Hakeem?
I think that's right. And he is committed to leave Congress if he is selected as the Democrat National Committee chairman. That's what's called in the business a twofer for Republicans. Right. Get him out of Congress and make a black separatist your
next DNC chair,
party chairman.
Coming off of Donna Brazier, you know,
as she's known by you,
and only me.
That's right. It's interesting because Jason Riley writes in the Wall Street Journal today. He's African American. Only liberals could get away with bashing the incoming Trump administration for its alleged ties to white nationalists, while simultaneously backing a former supporter of black nationalist Louis Farrakhan for head of the Democrat National Committee. The irony is rich. Riley has a good point, as he often does. And to the alt-right movement and the typical bigot baiting of the left, this is, of course, what they're doing. This is all they know how to do. Megyn Kelly sat down for an extended interview with Terry Gross on NPR.
Are we going to talk with our NPR? Salty balls.
That's
sweaty balls.
That's
is that what they discussed?
Yes, they did, and they did it.
Christmas balls.
They did it at this level. They talk like this.
Did they?
It was very
nice,
civil. Yes. Megyn Kelly on with Terry Gross, and she had a variety of opinions. Some things she said before, some things I haven't quite heard her say in these words with respect to the media, the First Amendment, and alt-right. Let's start with Megyn Kelly on the First Amendment and why it's dangerous for you people out there.
You peoples.
To not be listening to the media, to not be watching the Kelly File.
I do worry about the press and President Trump. You know, I think it's dangerous, the entire delegitimization that he's engaged in against all of the media, because the people, as much as it's fun to hate us, they do need us. You know, they need good, strong, skeptical journalists to be covering whoever it is, whether it's Barack Obama or President Donald Trump. And we're in a dangerous phase right now where too many millions of Americans aren't listening at all to what the press tells them. And that concerns me. And the relative lack of power of certain minority groups and the fear they're feeling in the wake of Donald Trump's election, I think is something we really need to take a look at, because while I don't think Trump wants to target any particular minority group, I understand their fear because he spent many months stoking it. And so I think that's a legitimate thing we're going to have to deal with and ask ourselves, you know, how far he can go in enacting certain policies that target specific groups.
So there's
First of all, my girlfriend is losing her voice.
No, that's NPR voice.
No, but
you have to.
She's
You have
like
to
a little raspy too.
You have to take it down a little bit. You have to do
It's really
Gross. Yeah, that's raising your voice to Terry Gross.
What?
You have to be here. You have to be here here at NPR. You can be here.
But it's down low. You got to get under DL.
Yeah, no. You're still too loud. You're hurting Terry Gross's ears. Please turn down the volume. Right here, just like this. Do you see what I'm doing?
You're hypnotizing me.
So Megyn Kelly, a couple things there. One, we need strong reporters who are properly skeptical of all sides. Well, I agree, but the problem, one of the reasons people stopped listening to so many in the mainstream press and the D.C. press corps is because they don't fit that description, Megyn Kelly.
No,
and then
they all get one side. They never get. Even when at Channel 5, you'll always have the Democratic version, and you'll never have the other side of the story.
Well, that's because you got the Bouvier sisters over there.
The Bouvier sisters. Oh, stop it. Oh, that's not. I'm friends with Marianne Anger.
No, I like Marianne.
That's rude. But she talked about millions of Americans, they need us. But millions of Americans, Megyn Kelly, are believing in fake news. And I think they believe partially in fake news because some of the mainstream media news is fake as well. It's not accurate.
Well, that's right.
There's a little embellishments here or there.
And then the last part of what Megyn Kelly said, and we'll take your calls and what Megyn Kelly has to say, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. All you Kelly file watchers, I'm not one of them. 646-36DA, turnkey.pro text line. The last part of what she said, I don't think Donald Trump wants to target any particular minority group, but it's still a concern because they feel that way, and we have to be careful about how far he can take policies that would target any one group. So which is it, counselor? Because Megyn Kelly is fond of reminding us she's a lawyer all the time. Yawn. Which is it? You're contradicting yourself, Miss Kelly. You're saying on the one hand, he's not going to do these things. On the other hand, we should be fearful of what he is going to do in furtherance of the things you said he's not going to do.
Yeah, she's talking out of both sides of her mouth.
And she went on to say that Trump has not defended the sacrosanct First Amendment.
The First Amendment, Donald Trump and the First Amendment, it's not a beautiful match. It's not a match made in heaven. Between the free speech rights that he has not defended and the freedom of the press, which he has not defended, it's problematic.
The freedom of the press he has not defended. How has he not defended it? Because he throws a reporter out of a press conference? Well, he has the right to do that. I mean, what has he threatened to shut down a newspaper? Use government power?
He shuts them out, though. Well, if he doesn't want certain reporters covering him.
Well, that's a private decision. When you talk about freedom of the press, you're talking about from government. So has he threatened to use government to shut down a media outlet? No, that's what the left has done with Equal Time and the rest of their regulatory gambits. I'm misremembering something Trump said or failing to remember something he said, but has he ever suggested government power to quash the press in general or a specific media outlet or a specific reporter? I don't know of an example. So I just, it's a follow-up question to Megyn Kelly that, of course, Terry Gross didn't ask, and she's the best interviewer in the world. Then Megyn Kelly went on to talk about alt-right, and the danger that exists there as well.
Well, I do think that they're a potentially dangerous force. And, even when it comes to the book review, look, I have a powerful platform. I can come talk to Terry Gross for an hour. But a lot of authors who are on the wrong side of Trump, take Michelle Fields, right? The one who alleged that Corey Lewandowski had physically assaulted her, Trump's old campaign manager. She had a book. She doesn't have a powerful platform. She worked for Breitbart and left when they failed to defend her. And she got targeted by these folks on Amazon, and they killed her book. And that's not okay, right? This woman hasn't done anything wrong. Anything. Other than find herself on the wrong end of these folks for whom she used to work. But even that wasn't enough to engender any loyalty or affection for her, because she decided to say something about the fact that Corey Lewandowski laid hands on her. This is a man who threatened me explicitly as well.
I didn't know Amazon ixnayed her book.
Well, I don't know exactly what she's referring to there, but even if it's poor behavior, so people can't say don't buy somebody's book? People can't target an author or a particular offering and say don't buy this and try and boycott, essentially, a product? What? Wait, I mean, it may not be something I would support, I would choose to engage with, but, I mean, that's not okay. What does that mean, Counselor? You were just talking about the First Amendment. Does that, do those individuals have the right to express their opinions? Because she says in other portions of the interview, she invokes Brandeis, the cure for speech you don't like is more speech, and she positions herself as a vanguard of the First Amendment. But what about individuals who don't agree with you, and don't agree with Michelle Fields, and don't want people to buy her book, to, you know, quote, even just to punish her? So what? They're expressing themselves. Don't buy her book because she made up a story about Corey Lewandowski. Whether that statement is true or not, do you have the right to say it and encourage other people to act similarly? Of course you do. So what's not right, not okay, in Megyn Kelly's words about that? And then she also tackled one Steve Bannon.
It is also a dangerous game to empower them, as clearly has happened. I mean, Steve Bannon he's the chief advisor to our president-elect. And I understand the argument that he's just a provocateur and he comes up with these crazy headlines and they want clicks. But if you look at what's happened to Breitbart over the past 3 years, it's shocking. I knew Andrew Breitbart very well, and he was great. I loved him. And he was a true provocateur who would be fun about it. You know, he'd show up at a Democratic protest and engage with the protesters, and then he'd go have a beer with them. This is something else entirely. And I don't know that Trump can stop it. I don't know who, if anyone, can stop it.
What is it something else entirely? If you're not fun-loving about your status as a provocateur, and I think Bannon may be a little bit more than that. I think Bannon is a little bit more mission-focused.
He doesn't care if people like him.
And he's not.
He doesn't care if people laugh. He's on a mission.
Breitbart was in part a showman, and Bannon is not. That's not who he is.
They're two different people.
So what's kind of she makes these insinuations that there's something very dark and foreboding about all of this without a lot of evidence and without specificity in terms of explaining what is so dark and foreboding, because you got a lot of people who rallied to Trump and tweeted mean things at you and inappropriate things and vulgar things. I'm not defending it, other than the you're a public figure, so you're subjected to this, as is Trump, by the way. I don't know. Megyn Kelly's offerings here on a range of topics seem to me a little flimsy for somebody who's supposed to be one of those dizzying intellects, we're told. Ed in LaGrange on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, Dan, I'm sorry, Alex. I'm sorry about scratching my throat.
Oh.
You indicated before you couldn't remember any specific instances where Trump had threatened the press.
Yeah.
Well, he did say about increasing or changing the libel laws to go after them so we could all get a lot more money. I'm not saying he's going to do that, but I'm saying you couldn't recall one.
That's a good one.
That was one.
Yeah, thanks for the call. No, that is a good one, and I remember when he did that, and we both, I think, criticized him for that.
Oh yeah,
the idea of trying to insulate public figures from criticism, lower the standard for libel for public figures, defamation for public figures. Sure. I totally disagree with that. Ed, thank you for the call. That is a good example. I concede that point. Phil on the North Side.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. I think your show should be on twice a day.
Thank you.
And Megyn Kelly, it's kind of sad when you look at people who have this perspective, because nowhere in the media, in the American media, do you hear anybody complain that someone's too far to the left. And I think that's what's given the whole American blowback, that she doesn't understand or see, that she thinks it's okay to be somewhat wishy-washy okay in our views when people are staunchly, avidly aggravated with the entire situation.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Phil. I mean, this is where I go back to, I love the opening line of Jason Riley's piece today, Wall Street Journal, liberals and the alt-right. Only liberals could get away with bashing the incoming Trump administration for its alleged ties to white nationalists while simultaneously backing a former supporter of black nationalist Louis Farrakhan for head of the DNC. Also, Keith Ellison, not just a former Farrakhan acolyte, but also wrote op-eds about creating a separate black state in the southeastern portion of the United States. And that is not even addressed other than by shows like ours. Jason Riley has a great point, and Megyn Kelly would be more compelling if she would highlight the hypocrisy, and it would also help her understand why we're in such dangerous times, as she describes them, where people don't believe what wide swaths of the D.C. press corps are telling them because they don't apply a consistent standard across the board. And unfortunately, Megyn Kelly hasn't been doing it either.
I'm Lou Dobbs. The Senate scrutinizing the AT&T Time Warner merger. The Fed releases an update on the money supply today, and the Obamacare repeal getting increasingly complicated. Those stories next.
Bill Bennett here to tell you about Augusta Precious Metals. Attention, investors. Your IRA or your 401k may be at risk again. The 2008 crash wiped out up to 50% of IRAs and 401ks. Can you afford to lose again? What if you could store IRA or 401k savings where you can see, touch, and hold it in your hands? With the Augusta Gold or Silver IRA, you transfer a portion of retirement savings into physical coins you can actually see and get fast in case of any disaster. Call Augusta Precious Metals today for a free gold and silver IRA guide. No obligation. Augusta Precious Metals, A+ Better Business Bureau rating, 98% 5-star customer satisfaction rating with TrustLink.org. Trust Augusta. Call Augusta Precious Metals today at 1-855-222-6993. That's 1-855-222-6993. One more time, 1-855-222-6993.
As the Senate heads toward adjournment, it's taking a closer look at the proposed AT&T and Time Warner merger. CEOs of both companies telling senators the merger would benefit consumers and push technology forward. Some lawmakers expressing considerable skepticism about the largest media merger ever proposed. This morning, the Labor Department releases the newest unemployment numbers, and later today, after the close of the markets, the Fed will issue a money supply update. The Urban Institute, opposing the president-elect's plan to repeal and replace Obamacare, warns it would risk leaving 30 million Americans uninsured. But Republicans say they're carefully mapping out ways to accomplish the repeal without leaving millions of people uninsured. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I didn't get a cold is a miracle in mine, because most years I would get like bronchitis 6 times.
I haven't had a cold in like 5 years. I attribute that to the fruit and vegetables and the fiber and spice.
I drive Amulet. I'm in hospitals all the time, and ever since I've been taking it, I haven't gotten sick.
With the tremendous success of Dr. Howard's free set of fruits and veggies giveaway and the 120-day health challenge, this holiday season we are doubling down. Call now and see how you can get your free month supply of fruits and veggies, plus a month's supply of fiber and spice, over a $100 value, free. Give the gift of health to yourself and loved ones, perhaps the greatest gift you'll ever give.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, Doctors Economos, Gevalis, Joshi, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidisciplined practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology, such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930. That's 630-830-4930. Or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
This holiday season, give yourself the gift of unlimited with Sprint's Unlimited Freedom Plan. Enjoy unlimited mobile optimized streaming videos, gaming, music, and data starting at $20 per month per line for a family of 5 when you bring your number to Sprint. It's the best price for unlimited. You'll never have to worry about running out of data or surprise overage charges again. All on a network that is within 1% reliability of Verizon and AT&T and is better than T-Mobile. So go ahead, watch all your favorite holiday movies and download all your favorite cookie recipes. Don't let a 1% difference limit your freedom. Live unlimited. Dash to a Sprint store, sprint.com/freedom, or call 1-800-SPRINT1 today.
Includes lines 3 through 5 free until 1/31/18 after pay additional $30 per month per line. Prices with auto pay coverage and offer not everywhere for discounted phone. Subject to credit and $30 activation fee. Excludes taxes, surcharges, roaming, and premium content. Limited for video up to 480p. Music up to 500 kilobits per second and games up to 2 megabits per second. Prohibited network use rules apply and data deprioritization during congestion or liability claim based on third-party data restrictions apply.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Trump is in Des Moines tomorrow?
No, tonight.
Oh, tonight.
Today's December 8th.
Tonight. And he's going to, that's part of his thank you tour.
And Terry Branstad's going to be with him.
Going to visit as ambassador to China. And we're going to get the skinny on it from our friend, former Iowa State Republican Party Chairman Matt Strawn at 7:07.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Mayor Emanuel meets with Donald Trump in New York City. We'll get a reaction from the mayor. Governor Rauner says no meetings until Democrats actually produce a budget. Chicago police officer convicted of perjury. And a Canadian man files a lawsuit over an incident involving an off-duty police officer. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. It's like hiring an arsonist to fight fires. That's one of the reactions from the left to Donald Trump's latest pick for his administration. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, Oklahoma Attorney General Scott Pruitt, who has sued the EPA, is the president-elect's choice to lead the agency. Former Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders calls the choice sad and dangerous, pointing to his skeptical stance on climate change. President-elect advisor Kellyanne Conway is not worried about the critics.
Attorney General Pruitt has great qualifications and a good record as the AG of Oklahoma.
Pruitt's lawsuits against the Environmental Protection Agency sought to curtail regulations aimed at reducing greenhouse gases. Retired Marine General John Kelly is Mr. Trump's choice to be the next Homeland Security Secretary. Dave.
Rachel, the president-elect will hold another thank you rally tonight in Iowa. But before that, he'll stop in Columbus, Ohio to meet with victims of the Ohio State University attack. The recount in Michigan has been halted.
The federal judge said there was basically no basis to ignore a state court ruling that said there was no valid reason for the recount. He also stated that there were no signs of any tampering or fraud when it came to the recent election and the vote for president.
Robin Murdoch with Fox 2 TV in Detroit. Green Party candidate Jill Stein's push for a recount in Pennsylvania has a hearing tomorrow as the vote recounting continues in Wisconsin. A prisoner supposed to be behind bars for life is on the run in South Carolina the morning after Michael Williamson escaped, and police suspect he went to a Walmart in Columbia where a police officer was stabbed. Responding to a shoplifting report last night, she's in stable condition. A 14-year-old boy spent the night in a Reno, Nevada hospital in critical condition after being shot by a police officer at his high school. Reno Police Chief Jason Soto says the teen was waving a knife at other students.
The officer gave verbal commands for the student to drop the knife, ultimately firing his service weapon, stopping the threat.
That high school will be back open this morning. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Cloudy skies, some flurries this morning, 21 degrees, 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. One person is in custody after gunshots overnight were fired at police on Chicago's near west side. Authorities say the shooting happened early this morning in the 800 block of South Miller. No one hurt, and the suspected shooter was arrested. It is the sixth time since November 27th that someone has fired a weapon at Chicago police. Authorities are investigating the death of a 1-month-old boy on Chicago's south side. Police say the infant was found not breathing yesterday inside a home near 66th and Racine. Mayor Emanuel says he had a very good meeting with President-elect Donald Trump yesterday, handing Trump a letter urging him to continue President Obama's policy of allowing some young immigrants in the country illegally to remain here.
We are clear as mayors that these are dreamers who are seeking the American dream, and we should embrace them rather than do a bait and switch.
Mayor also says the pair discussed White House operations and transition. Chicago police officer faces prison time after he was found guilty of perjury in a drug case. Officer William Parente was convicted yesterday in Cook County Court. 2 other officers charged in that case were acquitted. ComEd and its parent company, Exelon, both reaching into the pockets of consumers after a pair of government decisions in this state, as AM 560's David Stewart reports.
Governor Rauner signed a bill that keeps Exelon's unprofitable nuclear plants in operation by raising rates on customers by $235 million over the next 10 years. Rauner claims it strikes a balance between protecting jobs and ratepayers.
I'm a free market guy. I don't want government in things. But you know what? I refused to gamble on thousands of good-paying jobs, and I refused to gamble on the energy diversity and options for the people of Illinois. That's why I fought to make sure this bill happened.
Meanwhile, the Illinois Commerce Commission's granted ComEd a separate rate hike request that will raise the average customer's bill by $2 a month. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
A Canadian man accused an off-duty Chicago police officer of using excessive force during an altercation last year inside a downtown Portillo's restaurant. Terrence Clark filed that lawsuit yesterday. Chicago sports. White Sox continue their massive rebuilding project, dealing center fielder Adam Eaton to the Nationals in exchange for several top pitching prospects. Cubs add all-star closer Wade Davis to the back end of their bullpen with a trade, sending outfielder Jorge Soler to the Royals. Bulls square off with the Spurs later tonight. The news a service of Staples. Staples can take care of all of your personal and business holiday shipping in-store with UPS 7 days a week with all the packing supplies you need at great prices. From now until December 24th, get 10% off UPS shipping services. See an associate for details. Staples, make more happen. 7:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Christmas is less than a month away, and this year, give the gift of sunshine. Grab your passport to paradise and join Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh at Secrets Cap Cana Resort and Spa in beautiful Punta Cana. It's an unlimited luxury adults-only resort with all the amenities you can imagine. Give this trip as a gift to a loved one or treat yourself this holiday season. Visit 560theanswer.com and search for the keyword passport.
Men, if you're like me, you appreciate the feeling of a clean, smooth shave from a quality blade. The sort of shave that cuts clean without the burn. So why are you messing around with generic razors that cost $32 for an 8-pack when you can shave with Harry's high-quality German-engineered blades for half the price? And because Harry's is so confident in the quality of their blades, they'll send you their most popular set, complete with a razor, one of their world-famous blades, shaving cream, and post-shave balm for free if you cover shipping. A total value of $20 at no cost to you, with code 1158 at checkout. Their way of saying thank you for trying them. How is Harry's able to save you all this money and still give you the best shave you'll ever enjoy? By owning the factory that manufactures the blades. That's how. Go to harrys.com now and enter code 1158 at checkout to claim your free trial set and post-shave balm. That's harrys.com, code 1158.
7:06. Let's get an update on the roads in our AM 560 traffic center with Jim.
Thanks, Mike. On the Edens inbound, delays start at Dempster, 29 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 25. Kennedy, 40 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 17 from Montrose, 16 in the Express. Outbound, it's 31 minutes to the airport. The Eisenhower, 46 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, outbound 35. Don Stevenson, 54 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 37 from the Tri-State. Outbound 36 minutes to 355. Ryan is 40 minutes, 95th to downtown after a stall at 18th. I-57, 19 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop Ford 37. Northbound Tri-State delays 111 to the 83rd Street toll, from the Stevenson to 31st, and from the Reagan tollway to the Grand Avenue curve. Adams tollway and the Reagan tollway are both pretty light. Northbound Veterans Memorial, stop and go from 75th to the Reagan tollway. 8094 westbound, heavy from Burnham Avenue to the Bishop Ford. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's our forecast with Ashley Benoit.
Mostly cloudy skies today with a few flurries, windy and very cold, high 25. Mostly cloudy and breezy tonight, low 19. Cold tomorrow with clouds and sun, high 25. And some snow for Saturday, high 24 degrees. I'm Ashley Benoit on AM 560, The Answer.
It is 20 at O'Hare. Next news, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Turnkey IT, giving you the freedom to focus on your business while they handle the technical stuff. Turnkey IT.
Good morning. Welcome to your Thursday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
We were surprised by the outcome of the election, and I'm not sure what the right analogy would be, but like a punch in the stomach, let's say. Soul crushing might be another description.
I don't think it's appropriate for me to be owning stocks when I'm making deals for this country that maybe will affect one company positively and one company negatively.
They're trying to achieve the American dream. No fault of their own. Their parents came here. They are something we should hold up and embrace.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning. What is up, Dan and Amy? And Black employees file class action suit against CNN and Turner and Time Warner. What?
Yes, it happened.
No, not the network that employs the deep thinkers like Don Lemon and Obama suck toy Van Jones.
I don't think Van Jones and Don Lemon are part of the
good
class action or the
good harassment charges. Because Van Jones just met his first white couple from Ohio.
Oh yeah,
and so
I watched that.
I wanted to be able to celebrate that a little bit. They sent Van Jones, black separatist, sent him out to the Rust Belt. Figure out
what happened.
Who are these fracking people, and why are they doing what they're not supposed to be doing?
What happened?
Why aren't they enlightened like Van Jones? By the way, great Michelle Malkin piece in National Review Online about Van Jones, the real history of Van Jones that is now being presented by CNN as some kind of intrepid reporter. Hilarious.
That he is not.
Van Jones interviewed a white family from Trumbull County, Ohio. The Seitzes.
And they used to be Obama supporters, right?
Voted for Obama twice, 2008 and 2012. And here's how they explained to Van Jones, much to his amazement, why they voted for Trump this time.
So how does a billionaire, I mean, you guys are serious, like the working class backbone of America and the industrial heartland. How does a billionaire break through to the blue collar worker?
We put Democrats in office, and she turned around and forgot completely about us. We are what makes this world go round. We built the tanks and bombs that won these countries' wars, and for you to come through here and completely neglect us, we would have rather vote for anybody instead of her. And all the other stuff that Donald said didn't seem to make a hill of beans. She hurt us. And that's what it is.
Well, I mean, it's
dramatic.
That's a good first-person account.
Yeah, she forgot a class of people, a group of people, and that's white working Americans. She aligned herself with Beyonce and Jay-Z when she should have been hanging out with George Strait.
Oh, okay. Oh, snap.
Well,
okay.
Hey, dab.
Maybe George Strait didn't want to hang out with her.
I don't know if he did, but
some
Democratic country star.
Well, somebody else who's the backbone of America is our friend, former Iowa State Republican Party Chairman Matt Strawn, who joins us now. Matt, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Hey, good morning, guys. And I love the segue. Once you start talking country music, that's when you bring in the Iowa guy.
That's right, exactly. Yeah.
Can I get a hee-haw?
Or should I reference you now as Governor-elect Strawn?
Ooh.
Now that Governor Branstad is going to be Trump's ambassador to China and very well received by the Chinese, that selection. It's very interesting. But, so tell us about Governor Branstad's decision as well as your forthcoming gubernatorial bid.
All right. Well, let's throw cold water on that right at the start. So we've got a wonderful Lieutenant Governor, Kim Reynolds, who I talked to yesterday and is going to be a fantastic leader for our state once Governor Branstad is confirmed as Trump's ambassador to China. It's the perfect pick, actually, for Donald Trump. A lot of folks don't realize the depth of Governor Branstad's ties to China. They go back to 1985 when in Muscatine, Iowa, in a farm just outside of town, he first met this lower-level official in the Chinese delegation who now happens to be President Xi. So for folks that that are maybe a little concerned about some of the people that Donald Trump has chosen for these positions in his cabinet and his diplomatic corps, I'm not one of them. they should be very happy that someone with Midwest sensibilities who has deep ties to China, deep ties to understanding the benefits of trade to the Midwest environment and economy, is going to be over there as someone that kind of speaks our plain-spoken Midwestern language. Quite frankly, the very type of people that elected Donald Trump president. That's who Terry Branstad kind of represents.
So, Matt, how much time did Terry Branstad, Governor Branstad, and President Xi spend together, and what did they do together? And did Terry ever go to China?
He has. So he's been over there 8 times since he's returned as governor in 2011. And a few years ago, during, I guess then he wasn't the president yet, but then Xi happened to be in the United States, and there was a state dinner that was hosted at the Iowa State Capitol. We've seen billion-dollar soybean trade contracts that have been signed between Iowa farmers and the Chinese people. So there's some ties there that probably extend much deeper than some of the liberal elites that I hear chirping. I saw yesterday chirping on Twitter that, here Trump goes again. Some white guy from a landlocked state is going to be our diplomat in China, with kind of the eye roll and the smugness that still show they don't understand why they got their tails kicked.
Yeah, right.
Here 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure to meet Branstad, too. He's a really, really sharp guy, and that's probably why he's the longest-serving governor in the history of this country. So I think there's something to that. And it's interesting. He's been the relationship with President Xi, and then there was nice things said about him by one of the Chinese deputy foreign ministers. But that's not to say that because Branstad has a different personality than Trump and maybe different relationships with the Chinese leaders than Trump, that it's going to be he's any softer on China when it comes to some other matters, like, for example, pirating intellectual property, the South China Sea, some of these other matters. It's just he has these ties. He has an understanding that he's going to bring to the table, but it doesn't mean that he's going to be soft because he's done business with the Chinese for the benefit of Iowa families.
Yeah, David, I think that's exactly right. And I think you're seeing and this is kind of the savvy of Donald Trump that we're seeing already with some of these early appointments, that he understands that that not that it's going to be like one of those, kind of good cop, bad cop movie scenes, but, we know where Donald Trump is relative to China when it comes to IP, currency manipulation, dropping boulders in the South China Sea and calling them territorial islands. Having someone in Terry Branstad that can actually get to the very top level of the Chinese government is maybe that velvet glove wrapped around the fist. It's probably a good thing for America.
Well, also making news is Lieutenant Governor Kim Reynolds, first female governor of the state of Iowa, and she cut short her vacation to be with next to President-elect Donald Trump tonight.
Yeah, we'd also be so lucky to get the news of our ascension to the governor's office while we're in Cabo. Kim's not that it's not like the Punta Cana vacation. I heard you guys during the break, of course, but
Governor Reynolds is welcome with us in Punta Cana.
Well, she's fantastic, and I think you guys will both get a kick out of. We've seen this Democrat and liberal war on women over the last few years. Mm-hmm. Well, part of the Branstad legacy is not only making Kim Reynolds the first female governor in this state, but Joni Ernst, the first female senator from this state, Linda Upmeyer, our first first Iowa Speaker of the House. So, Branstad's going to be 6,000 miles away, but he has left an incredible, and will leave an incredible legacy here. And the good thing is with our Republicans and conservatives in Iowa, they're just good public servants who happen to be women.
What's the anticipated response tonight in Des Moines for Donald Trump? How's that going to come off?
The crowd's growing. They're going to have a full arena in Des Moines, and it was interesting hearing your Van Jones lead-in with that couple in Ohio. You look at what happened here in Iowa on election night. Trump won 93 of 99 counties, and when you look up the Mississippi River, places like Burlington, Clinton, Dubuque, we saw 30-point swings from Obama counties in 2008 to Trump counties in 2016. So this nonsense that's out there, that it's this latent racism that reared its head to elect Donald Trump president, patent nonsense. These are folks just 8 years ago that voted for Barack Obama. Dubuque County went Republican for the first time since Eisenhower was on the ballot. So those are the folks we're seeing, didn't only see show up at rallies in the fall, but, when I'm getting a note on Facebook from my pastor on Tuesday and wanting to know how we can get tickets to go see Trump, there's a lot of enthusiasm out here.
So are you honored? Do you think the people of Iowa are honored that he's coming on a thank you tour?
Oh, no question. No question. And I think, not just with the Branstad appointment, but with, the president-elect's visit here tonight, I think that Iowa is going to be one of those states that is going to be, probably near and dear to the Trump administration's heart because it was part of that blue wall that was, that was breached on election night.
Do you think, we're talking to Matt Strawn, who's a former state party chairman for the Iowa Republican Party. So it's not just this election, but your perspective is broader, the party writ large, both at the state level as well as nationally. Where do you think the party's going under Trump, and do you have any trepidations about its direction?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think we're all still flying a little bit without instruments on this. It's a conversation I've had with, for example, my social conservative friends who are appreciative that they're probably going to get some federal judges and a Supreme Court justice that likely share their beliefs. But after that, there hasn't been a lot of discussion about the issues that motivate them to be active in politics. Here in Iowa, where every fourth row of our soybeans are shipped overseas.
Yeah.
Most of our pork is shipped overseas. We're a free market, free trade state. So there's a little trepidation as to what our trade policies will be when it comes to how they're going to benefit the Iowa economy. Our pork producers love the fact that Obama's EPA is going to be turned out, and Trump's going to have an actual common sense regulatory environment. But still a little concerned about what it's going to mean for trade. So those are two right off the top of my head that we're still feeling our way around a little bit as a party where we're going to end up.
All right, he is Matt Strawn, former Iowa GOP state chairman. He's the founding principal of Next Generation Public Affairs. Matt, thanks for joining us. Congratulations on that win over Michigan.
Thanks, and go Hawks, Amy.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks,
go Hawks.
Matt.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
And Dan, the Iowa Hawkeyes are going to the Outback Bowl. Big bowl game. Huge. You don't want to miss it. First year.
Who are they playing?
I have no idea.
No, you're really engaged.
I'm going to that game. I am going to watch it, though. Today, mostly cloudy, breezy, quite cold with a few flurries. Wind chills in the teens. Ouch. And then tomorrow, more of the same. Some sunshine by the afternoon for your Big Fun Friday.
Speaking of sunshine, they're playing the Florida Gators from the Sunshine State.
Oh, we played them a while ago. Okay, a rematch. Let's get the travel times. Here's Jim Delamonte.
Thanks, Amy. Good morning in Beach Park. Sheridan Road is closed right now between Wadsworth Road and Ames. Down wires. Eden's 27 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 28. The Kennedy now 43 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 25 from Montrose, 22 in the Express. Outbound 34 to the airport. The Ike, 53 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Outbound 39. Stevenson, 54 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 36. Ryan, 42 minutes. 95 to downtown. Delays on the northbound tri-state are 111th, 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue Curve. Veterans Memorial jammed, I-55 to the Reagan Tollway, but the other tollways are lighter than normal. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Hey, it's hard sleeping on a flat pillow, flip-flopping during the night. I've been there. It's awful. Or waking up feeling unrested. So I suggest you do what I did, and that's order a MyPillow today. MyPillow has a patented interlocking fill that adjusts your individual sleep needs. It conforms to your neck and back so you will get the best sleep ever. Washable, dryable, made in the good old US of A in America. And it's guaranteed not to go flat for 10 years. So if you're thinking about that tough person to buy for on your holiday list, give the gift of a great night's sleep. Right now, when you buy one, you can get one free. Plus, you'll receive 2 Go Anywhere pillows. And that money-back guarantee is extended through March 1st. So visit MyPillow.com. Click the Radio Listener Special tab and use the promo code Amy. Again, 2 premium MyPillows, 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows, all for the price of 1. MyPillow.com, promo code Amy, or simply call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201.
A couple years ago, I had a severe accident which disabled my right hand and caused chronic pain and complete suffering. It took many years before really we figured out exactly what it was or how to treat it. My whole goal was I did not want to be on high levels of pain medicine. After some time, I went to see Dr. Kenneth Candido to try to figure out the source of the pain and a solution and how to solve it. He listens. I'm going to cry because it's so real. I've been through so much, and he wants to help his patients, and he's there for me whenever I need him.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. I have a simple message for you. If you or someone you love or someone you know has chronic pain, contact us. Treating chronic pain issues is what we do. We can make it better. Get an appointment and let's talk. MyPainChicago.com, MyPainChicago.com. All the info is available at MyPainChicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
What are the laws on sharing your faith in a public place? This is Law and Justice with Jay Sekulow.
We have a convenience 7-Eleven store. I stopped there Sunday morning to get a cup of coffee to drink while I'm driving to church. I was in a couple of weeks ago, and I got talking to the man behind me about Jesus. And the man running the store, who's not the owner, said to me, he doesn't want to hear about that. So I turned to the man and I said, do you object to what I was saying? No, he said, I don't. So then the man running the store said, well, I object to it.
Well, let me tell you what the issue is. And this is, your First Amendment rights are protected in a variety of contexts. But religious discussion should not be off limits in a convenience store. And you said this wasn't the manager, so I'm sure this wasn't the decision of management. It was somebody that was offended by the message, so to speak. The main issue here was probably a misunderstanding by the local employee rather than a decision of 7-Eleven.
Find out more at aclj.org. That's aclj.org.
That's Lisbeth. She doesn't know it, but she owes her life to a change in public opinion. Our younger generation of women is turning the tide of public opinion concerning abortion. The most recent statistics show that more women facing unwanted pregnancies are choosing life compared to 15 years ago. Many wonder why, if a pregnant woman and her unborn child are murdered, it's a double homicide. Yet they ask, why isn't abortion a crime? More women now value life, even if their unwanted child is to be placed for adoption, because they may feel like they can never forgive themselves of an abortion, even if the law does. Lake County Right to Life, helping young women choose courage over convenience. LCRTL.org. That's LCRTL.org. Visit Lake County Right to Life on Twitter and Facebook, or call 847-223-7022.
AM 560, The Answer.
Some have viewed American history as a series of fortunate coincidences, but Michael Medved makes the case in his new book, The American Miracle, that something other than accidents or even hard work can be credited for America's greatness. Join Michael Medved on Thursday, February 2nd, when he retells the story of the American Miracle. Come hear how a record of improbabilities demonstrate that historical events unfolded according to a master plan. Enjoy a plated lunch with several hundred like-minded AM 560 listeners. General admission tickets are just $25, and VIP meet and greet tickets are $75. Visit 560theanswer.com for more information and to buy your tickets to that Michael Medved event now.
All right, we're getting so much closer to reaching our goal of feeding 1,500 children in Haiti and Guatemala. We're partnering up this Christmas season with Food for the Poor. I know you've heard us talk about it, but now's the time to take action. Now's the time that we need your help. People are starving in these third world countries. Haiti is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. They need help, especially after Hurricane Matthew just decimated the area. A number of hungry, starving families. What we're asking for is a one-time donation of $50. What do you get? What will you provide for $50? Well, 1 year food and water for life for one child or adult in Haiti or Guatemala. To make a donation, it just takes a few minutes to help so many. 855-880-3663. That's 855-880-FOOD. Or you could visit 560theanswer.com, search for the keyword food, or simply dial on your cell phone pound 250 and say the word food when prompted.
And then there's our business benefactor program, and thank you to those businesses who've already enrolled, including the Wright Real Estate Group, Americal, Packer Mortgage Company, Corporation, CH Hansen, LPS Corp, Twin Supplies Ltd, Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling, Creative Contracting Resources Group, Gatto Plating, Critical Environments Professionals, Glenn's Tavern, AmericanEagle.com. Thank you so much. Many others. Here's the program. $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor. And you provide food for a year, water for life for 50 children in Haiti and Guatemala. Remember, our overall goal is 1,500. So we would appreciate our business benefactors helping us get to that goal, exceed it if we can, of course. And because of your generosity, we here at AM 560 want to return the favor. If you make that donation, we'll give you 40 60-second commercials that will air on our airwaves, prime broadcasting hours, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m., Monday through Friday. It's the best advertising deal in all of Chicago radio, period, full stop.
And to become that business benefactor, call Michael Mann right now, 847-871-1527. That's 847-871-1527. He can answer all of your questions about becoming a business benefactor. It really is the best advertising deal in all of Chicago radio. $2,500, tax deductible. The money goes to Food for the Poor. And as a way of saying thanks, we give you 40 60-second commercials. Do it now, 847-871-1527.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Alice, owner of a growing company. Our entire business depends on our phones, so I was challenged when our phone service providers struggled to deliver our calls. Missed calls means lost revenue. I heard Innovative Networks helped AM 560, so I called. They provided an innovative solution that reinforced our phone infrastructure and enhanced call flow. I truly appreciate how comprehensive, diligent, and cost-effective Innovative Networks was in providing us a solution that scales as my business expands. They even replaced our outdated phone system and provided hands-on training to maximize our capabilities. Amazingly, it cost us nothing. I'm saving money and more focused on growing my business. I'm thrilled with Innovative Networks.
Follow Alice's lead and call Innovative Networks at 312-889-9090. They're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. Call 312-889-9090 or visit go4inet.com. Are you happy with your carrier?
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're going to talk to Sterling Burnett from the Heartland Institute about Trump's selections, particularly the selection of Scott Pruitt, the Oklahoma Attorney General for EPA. That's at 7:37.
And then at 7:47, a ticket giveaway. Who wants to go to Tony and Tina's wedding? It's back in Chicago, and you can win a few seats. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
21 degrees, cloudy skies, some light snow showers across the area. President-elect Donald Trump will resume that thank you tour of states that supported him in the election. But first, he'll meet with victims of last week's attack at Ohio State University. And the president-elect has confirmed he will nominate Oklahoma Attorney General Scott Pruitt, a global warming skeptic, to lead the EPA. The House advancing hard-fought legislation to help the Flint, Michigan area fix its lead-tainted water supply. It's also trying to speed up next year's confirmation for retired General James Mattis as Donald Trump's defense secretary. Federal judge stops the presidential vote recount in Michigan after hearing arguments about whether the effort is worth the cost to taxpayers. A $30,000 reward being offered for information leading to the capture of a Georgia cop killer. Police allege it was Miguel Lembeck, who fired on America's police officer Nicholas Smar and Georgia State University officer Jody Smith as they responded to a domestic call. Yesterday, Smar has died. 2 juveniles are charged with aggravated arson in the wildfires that have swept across eastern Tennessee. The 2 are not being identified because of their age. 1 person in custody after a gunshot was fired at police on Chicago's near West Side. Authorities are also investigating the death of a 1-month-old boy on Chicago's South Side. The infant found not breathing yesterday in a home near 66th and Racine. And a Chicago police officer faces prison time after he was found guilty of perjury in a drug case. Officer William Pruenta was convicted yesterday in Cook County Court. 2 other officers, one from Glenview, charged in that case, were acquitted. Chicago sports. Sox continue that massive rebuild job on the South Side, dealing center fielder Adam Eaton to the Nationals in exchange for some of the top pitching prospects in all of baseball. Cubs are adding all-star closer Wade Davis to the back end of their bullpen for outfielder Jorge Soler. The news a service of Accountemps. The time is here now to reality check your salary expectations. Visit accountemps.com/salary center to see up-to-date 2017 salary forecasts for more than 400 accounting and finance roles. Accountemps, a Robert Half company. 7:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
I'd say the same thing to a billionaire that I would say to somebody making $30,000 a year.
The Joe Walsh Show.
The money you make, the money you earn, the money you invest, that's your money, damn it. And I think it's your duty, it's your right to do whatever you can do legally to limit what you give government, because we have a government that's too damn big.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Come to Cabela's Christmas sale and find everything on your family's wish list. Plus, the first 250 in line at 8 a.m. on Saturday receive a free giveaway. Don't miss Cabela's Christmas sale.
Hi, this is Dr. David Kolbaba. So you get yourself one of those blood tests with all the poking and prodding. They're always looking for some kind of bad news. Most blood tests these days are very lacking, only screening you for the big, bad, and ugly diseases, with you never really getting the good news, or even knowing what to do with the not-so-good news. So let me tell you about our dirt cheap comprehensive blood test. First of all, we'll be testing a wide variety of different health factors and not just the ugly few. And then we're going to sit down with you and strategize with all that we learned from your blood test findings. And I promise that you're going to know more about what you can do to help improve your health using a more natural, common sense approach. And for over 33 years, we've been very successful at setting people free from their toxic medications. It's our dirt cheap comprehensive blood test. Call 800-794-1855. You can't get any cheaper than dirt cheap. That's 800-794-1855. Be sure to tune into Health Quest Radio with me, Dr. David Kolbaba, this Saturday morning at 11.
The most recent U.S. Supreme Court decision on the Affordable Care Act made one thing certain. We will all have to deal with this ever-changing law until at least 2017. If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. That's right, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating AM 560 listeners on the Affordable Care Act for the last 5 years.
Thanks, Dan. From now until January 31st, you cannot be denied coverage based on a pre-existing condition. Aetna, Coventry, United Healthcare, and Harkin Health no longer offer health insurance subsidies even if you qualify. One company still does, and they still offer plans that provide access to Northwestern Memorial, University of Chicago, and Rush University Medical Centers. Call me. I can help.
Thanks, Steve. How can our listeners get in touch with you?
They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
Oh my goodness, I am so grateful for it. And my 85-year-old mother, even more so.
I love the product so far. It's been a little over a month now. And I feel great. It's incredible.
It's working good. It's amazing. I'm able to do more and I feel better. I like it.
With the tremendous success of Dr. Howard's free set of fruits and veggies giveaway and the 120-day health challenge, this holiday season we are doubling down. Call now and see how you can get your free month supply of fruits and veggies, plus a month supply of fiber and spice, over a $100 value, free. Give the gift of health to yourself and loved ones, perhaps the greatest gift you'll ever give.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code CHICAGO.
.737 in our AM 560 traffic center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the northbound tri-state, it's stop and go from 115th to the Hinsdale Oasis and from the Reagan Tollway to Grand Avenue. Veterans Memorial Jam. Boughton most of the way to St. Charles. The other tollways are lighter than usual. The Edens is 28 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 26. Kennedy, 44 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 37. The Eisenhower's an hour. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 41 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 2 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 35 minutes. To Ryan, 42 minutes, 95th to the Loop. Traffic service of Staples. Staples can take care of all your personal and business holiday shipping. In store with UPS 7 days a week with all the packing supplies you need at great prices. Plus, from now until December 24th, get 10% off UPS shipping services. See an associate for details. Staples. Make more happen. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, cloudy, breezy, cold, a few flurries today, high 25. Currently, with clouds, we have 19 degrees at O'Hare. Winds west at 16. That gives us a wind chill of 0 this morning. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour Radio Show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pearshale Financial Group.
Your money. Find out how to keep more of it and live debt-free. Tonight on The Dave Ramsey Show, starting at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And Donald Trump announced a couple of more important selections to his cabinet and one additional administrative, executive post, really. Small Business Administration had Linda McMahon.
Nice.
She of WWE.
She and her husband founded it, right?
Yeah, Vince. Yeah. And Linda McMahon ran for U.S. Senate in Connecticut a couple times, lost. Tough state.
Yeah, Donald Trump contributed both times to her campaign.
And then General John Kelly over Chris Kobach, the state of Kansas Secretary of State. General Kelly for head of Department of Homeland Security. He lost a son in service to our nation in Afghanistan, 4-star retired Marine general. And pretty tough on immigration, but not as controversial, I think, as Chris Kobach. And we'll talk to David Ferdoso at the top of the 8 o'clock hour.
Oh, Chris Ferdoso, he had the plan in his hand when he was walking in
Yes,
to meet Donald Trump,
correct.
and everybody zoomed in on it.
Right, and we'll talk to Ferdoso from the Washington Examiner about the calculus behind that choice for Homeland Security. And then the choice that has the junk science addicted left having a core meltdown. That's the choice of Oklahoma Attorney General Scott Pruitt to head up EPA, one of the hallowed federal government agencies, at least in the minds of the left.
And you know what his nickname is? Scott Polluter.
They need to workshop that.
Okay.
That doesn't really work. But for more on this nomination and the implication, we're pleased to be joined by Sterling Burnett. He is a research fellow on the environment and energy policy for the Heartland Institute. Sterling, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good to be on. Thanks for having me.
So now why would Donald Trump nominate someone to head EPA who is opposed to clean air and clean water?
Well, of course he wouldn't. No one, I don't know of anyone who's opposed to clean air and clean water who doesn't want the environment to be better for their children in the next generation than they exist. Than they benefit from themselves. But Scott Pruitt is in line with Donald Trump's view that the EPA has gone well beyond the bounds set by law for it, especially under the Obama administration, that it ignores rulings set down by the Supreme Court, and that it is tampering with policies and areas of policy that are left that under the Constitution are left to the states, not the federal government. And he has fought the Obama administration and other administrations in court over several regulations and rules, and this is in keeping with Trump's view that the EPA is overreached and it's time to rein it back. Trump, throughout his entire campaign has said we're going to make America great again, and one of the ways of doing that is reducing regulations that harm business for no environmental benefit. And that's precisely what Scott Pruitt has been fighting as Attorney General of the United States. As Attorney General for Oklahoma.
So how is this going to work? Because he's repeatedly sued the EPA, to roll back environmental regulations. So what happens now?
Well, there's still, it's not just he's repeatedly sued him. He's still in court, suing him actively now. He has several lawsuits still pending against the federal EPA. Well, should he be approved by the Senate, and I expect that to happen, whoever his successor is will take over the lawsuits. They're not going to go away, except they could. He could say, if he does what I believe he should do, and what I think Trump hopes that he will do, he can either withdraw the regulations that have been offered that are being sued, being challenged by the states, because it's not just Scott Pruitt, let's be clear. Over half the states in the nation are challenging the Clean Power Plan.
Right.
The Supreme Court put a stay on it for the first time ever. Not even a single court had heard it, and the court stayed it because they expected it to be overturned. That's how bad it was. The large United States rule, multiple states, dozens of states, have sued to block the large United States rule. So he's just one of the attorney generals doing that, but he's a lead attorney general. And I think what will happen is he will either withdraw his regulations or ask the agency to revise them in line with, what the lawsuits are demanding. Or he can simply choose not to defend those regulations in court.
Well, yeah.
In which case, the court would only hear one side of the argument, and you have little leeway to do anything but find the regulations were unfit.
Right, and it's interesting. I mean, how quickly the narrative on this particular issue changed from Al Gore meeting with Ivanka and President-elect Trump at Trump Tower the other day, and then Scott Pruitt announced on Wednesday. So certainly that meeting with Al Gore didn't influence Donald Trump's decision in terms of which way to go for EPA. And so it, of course, brings in the overriding issue for the left, which is climate change and the assertion that, Scott Pruitt, like everybody who doesn't subscribe to carbon taxes and the wholesale environmental extremism of the left, that he is a neo-Luddite, that he is a troglodyte, that he is someone who does not subscribe to the settled science as it pertains to the existential threat that climate change presents to our planet. And that's why he is a danger to the planet, as Obama senior advisor Dan Pfeiffer termed him.
Yeah, well, rhetoric is cheap. So the Obama administration can make all these claims that it wants. In the end, the EPA administrator is not charged with making policy. It's not charged with making executive decisions about which direction the country should take and what Congress and the president should do. It's charged with carrying out the laws enacted by Congress. And there's no law enacted by Congress that says we should be regulating carbon dioxide emissions. Every EPA, up till Obama's EPA, when asked whether they had the authority and power to regulate carbon dioxide emissions, said no. And they said, and even if we have that authority, which we don't, we wouldn't do it because it's not toxic to human health. And any risks from climate change are minimal, distant, and there's nothing the United States can do to prevent them. Most of the emissions are coming from developing countries at this stage. Our emissions have been declining despite no laws restricting emissions. That's what every presidential administration's EPA has said up until Obama. He changed that. So basically, I think what you'll see with Scott Pruitt is to some extent a return to the status quo, an EPA which says we're going to ask what the law says first, not what's good for our budget, what gives us more power, regardless of what the law says, because that's what the EPA has been doing.
So Pruitt does want to protect the environment, but he also wants freedoms for American businesses, right?
Oh, that's right. The Constitution's first. And the Constitution says everything not specifically delegated to the federal government is left to the states. And that's what he's been fighting for, is states' authority against federal overreach. And that is what President-elect Trump has said needs to occur as well. So, I mean, I think that Pruitt fits hand in glove with what during the election campaign, President-elect Trump said he expected from the EPA, and in line with those views, also other agencies, and you're looking at those appointments, and I think you're seeing agencies that will be much more humble, that will examine and see what the impact of these rules will be on freedom and on the economy, because that has been President-elect Trump's main focus. Reducing regulations that harm the economy, that cut jobs, that make us less competitive with foreign countries.
All right. I think I still need to become a vegetarian, though, to reduce my personal carbon footprint, just to be on the safe side. He is Sterling Bennett. He's a research fellow on environment and energy policy for the Heartland Institute, heartland.org. Sterling, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on. Take care.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
All right. Who wants to win free tickets to Tony and Tina's wedding? They're back in Chicago and better than ever. Audience members don't just watch the show, they participate as guests of the bride and groom. No two performances are ever the same in this improvised, interactive dinner theater. Everyone loves a wedding, especially Dan Proft. So here's what you do. Be caller number 15. Caller number 15 to 312-642-5600 right now to win a pair of tickets to Tony and Tina's wedding at Chicago Theater Works. Again, caller 15, 312-642-5600. Win yourself a pair of tickets to Tony and Tina's wedding. Forecast for today, well, the wind chill is hovering around 0 right now. We're going to have a high today of just 25 degrees. Pretty gray day, a few flurries. Then tonight, a low of 19, and tomorrow, pretty much more of the same, but we do have a chance of some sunshine for your Friday afternoon. Any sun shining on the roadways and those travel times? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Oh, it's getting heavier on your inbound Kennedy, Amy. Delays start at Foster, 56 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 42 from Montrose, 38 in the Express. Outbound 35 downtown to the airport. Eden's 22 minutes, Lake Cook to the junction. Outbound 31, the Eisenhower. Now an hour and 9 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, 54 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 44 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 2 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 35 minutes. Orion's 40 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound, stop and go 120 to 137. Northbound from 115th most of the way to 31st. And from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue Curve, Veterans Memorial heavy, out into the Reagan Tollway and Butterfield to St. Charles. Northwest Indiana's okay. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
My daughter started school, and I find myself worrying if she is getting home safe while I'm still at work. I wish I could check up on her.
Alarm Detection Systems offers remote control of your security system from your phone. Get text or video alerts when someone's at your door. ADS is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
Our neighbor had thousands of dollars in flood damage and lost several items that are irreplaceable. Is there a security solution to receive early warning of an event like this?
Of course. Alarm Detection Systems has flood detection systems alerting you when water gathers in your home, giving you time to react. ADS is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Mick O'Rourke, President and CEO of Signature Bank. We'd like to wish you happy holidays from our Signature Bank family to your family.
I'm Kevin Vestuga, co-founder of Signature Bank. There's no better place to be for the holidays than Chicago.
And this is Brian Duncan, co-founder of Signature Bank. Whether it's ice skating under the lights at Millennium Park,
or my favorite, visiting Candy Cane Lane in Lincolnwood to see the Noonan House with the tree magically rising through the roof,
or attending the annual tree lighting in downtown Downers Grove.
We wish you the very best this holiday season from Signature Bank, Chicago's business bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy. Amy, congratulations. Your people have done it again. That's right, the Swedes. Always on the tip of the spear, as it were.
Okay. Gross. What are they doing now? How are they saving the world now?
A clinic in southern Sweden, the Blekinge Clinic.
The south side of Sweden? Yeah.
Yeah,
What up,
side.
south side?
Yeah. That clinic, the Blekinge Clinic, hopes...
Wait.
Blekinge.
You know that is not the right pronunciation.
What's the
The
pronunciation?
Blekinge. That good?
The Blekinge Clinic hopes that its new penis measuring tape will convince more young men to stop by for appointments.
Wait. Gross. Okay.
The Blekinge City Council wants to get men to visit youth clinics. So they're offering this measuring service, which measures diameter rather than length.
Oh, thank you, because that's really important.
Yeah. Well,
what kind of story is this?
Well, I mean,
what kind of clinic is this?
Some people are girth people. Some people, I don't,
Tennis game.
You know the mathematical formula that the angle of the dangle is proportional to the heat of the meat, right? I mean, you're a scientist.
Angle of the dangle to the heat of the meat.
So,
wow.
This demands fifth grade humor.
Do I dare Google this? Yes, I am.
So here's the deal here.
Penis.
It's a trap.
Oh.
So I want to warn young Swedish men about this trap. They're measuring the diameter rather than the length to fit young men for appropriate size condoms.
Oh.
You see what they're doing here. And then, according to a district nurse at the Blekinge Clinic, when you get guys to visit, you can move on to mental health. So we want to get them here one way or the other. So they woo you with the penis measuring service so they can get inside your head. Oh. No.
Well, I want to make sure that ill-fitting condoms don't slip off.
There's no question about that.
There's images. There's a little measuring tape.
There's an increased. Don't say little. There's an increased incidence of sexually transmitted disease, and so the King of Sweden has commanded the Blekinge Clinic to provide this. No, I don't know if the King of Sweden's involved or not.
But they're too refined. Please do not sully the name.
No, of course not. The royal family. So this is a way to try and enhance public health. Enhance public health.
And I thought my jokes were bad.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer. And now, a moment of objectivism with Yaron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
The novel Atlas Shrugged is a mystery story about the disappearance of America's great thinkers, industrialists, inventors, and artists. Atlas Shrugged is a philosophical novel of breathtaking scope, where author Ayn Rand's worldview emerges in the compelling plot turns of a mystery story, centered on the question, who is John Galt? Everyone from Hillary Clinton and Ted Cruz to Rob Lowe and Angelina Jolie say that they've been inspired by Ayn Rand's most famous novel. Atlas Shrugged is inspiring to a wide variety of individuals because it grapples with the fundamental problems of human existence, and the novel presents radical new answers. Have you read Atlas Shrugged? From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Yaron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brook Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ariradio.com.
If you enjoy Yaron Brook's Moments of Objectivism, consider making a gift to support content like this from the Ayn Rand Institute. ARI fosters a growing awareness, understanding, and acceptance of Ayn Rand's philosophy of objectivism to create a culture guided by the principles of reason, rational self-interest, individualism, and laissez-faire capitalism. To support this work, go to ariradio.com and click on the Donate button. Your tax-deductible gift will help to spread the message of Ayn Rand to the next generation.
Gentlemen, Dan Proft here. This time of year can be exhausting and stressful, but if you feel a lack of energy or motivation, no matter what time of year, it's time to get your testosterone levels checked. For many men, when you enter your 40s or 50s, you may experience a growing lack of motivation in your daily life. And unfortunately for some, it can be due to low testosterone. Also, stress is associated with low testosterone. It can worsen symptoms like fatigue, trouble sleeping. It can affect your mood. I personally recommend going to Low T Center. They make it easy. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and with the convenience of their on-site lab, you'll know your results within 20 minutes. So if you're drinking coffee or energy drinks just to get through the day, or if you always feel like you need a nap after lunch, you may have low T. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy, can raise your cholesterol and cause weight gain. Low T Center accepts most health insurance. They're considered in-network by most insurance providers, importantly. And they also have flexible hours, including Saturdays, so don't hesitate to find out what your number is. I'm glad I did. Call my friends at Low T Center today and tell them Dan Proft sent you. That's me. The number is 630-409-4305. That's 630-409-4305. Call 630-409-4305 or visit them online at lowtcenter.com.
You desperately need workers. You don't have time to find them. Let us handle it. We did it 425,000 times last year. This is Terry Greeno. My company is Express Employment Professionals. We know how to find the right people for your business. If you own or run a business in McHenry or Kane County, let us be your partner. Be it finance, accounting, administrative, manufacturing, engineering, we've got you covered. We help make this critical part of your business better so you can focus on running your business. It's simple. We put great companies and great people together. If you own or run a business in McHenry or Kane County, give us a try. Find out why we are the go-to company for great employees. Check us out at expresshires.com.
Contact the go-to company for great employees in McHenry or Kane County. Contact Express Employment Professionals, 815-788-8556, 815-788-8556.
Cloudy skies and wind chills below zero this morning. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. He's skeptical about climate change, so Donald Trump's pick to head the EPA has a lot of skeptics. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, incoming Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer says Oklahoma Attorney General Scott Pruitt, a climate change skeptic, will have to answer tough questions at his confirmation hearings for head of the EPA. President-elect advisor Kellyanne Conway says Mr. Trump interviewed many candidates for the job.
He settled on Attorney General Pruitt, and we'll look forward to the confirmation hearings.
Pruitt sued the Environmental Protection Agency to stop regulations aimed at reducing greenhouse gases. The Sierra Club says picking Pruitt is like hiring an arsonist to fight fires. Dave.
Rachel, the reward's been up to $50,000 in the hunt for a cop killer in Georgia.
For information that leads to the arrest of a 32-year-old Minquel Lembrick. More than 20 agencies have been aggressively searching for Lembrick overnight and continue to do so this morning.
Nathalie Pozzo with Fox 5 TV in Americas, where police say Lembrick killed an officer responding to a domestic dispute. A second officer was also shot and is in critical condition. How safe an alternative to smoking is vaping? The Surgeon General isn't sure and has concerns. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
Because it contains fewer of the harmful compounds of regular cigarettes, vaping was first pushed as safer for smokers. But the U.S. Surgeon General is calling e-cigarettes an emerging public health threat to the nation's youth. Surgeon General Vivek Murthy acknowledges a need for more research, but says e-cigarettes are not harmless and too many teens are using them. Federal figures show that last year, 16% of high school students reported at least some use of e-cigarettes. Dave?
John, a legendary classic rock singer has died. Greg Lake of Emerson, Lake and Palmer and King Crimson fame was 69. He had a long battle with cancer. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Cloudy and 19 degrees. It's 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago police tell us one person is in custody after a gunshot was fired at police on Chicago's near west side. It happened early this morning in the 800 block of South Miller. Authorities are investigating the death of a 1-month-old boy on Chicago's south side. Police say the infant was found not breathing yesterday in a home near 66th and Racine. Mayor Emanuel says he had a very good meeting with President-elect Donald Trump yesterday. Part of that meeting, Emanuel handing Trump a letter urging him to continue President Obama's policy of allowing some young immigrants in the country illegally to remain here. A doctor who coordinated the treatment of 14 suburban Chicago high school students who became sick after eating candy believes the gummy bears contained marijuana. Dr. Jennifer McNulty of Edward Hospital says after talking to students and observing their behavior, she's quite certain that the gummy bears contain marijuana or marijuana oil. Republican Governor Bruce Rauner says no more meetings until he gets a budget proposal from Democratic leaders. Rauner made the announcement a day before a planned meeting with leaders, which he has canceled. Chicago sports, White Sox continue the rebuild project on the south side by dealing center fielder Adam Eaton to the Nationals in exchange for their 3 top pitching prospects. Bulls square off with the Spurs tonight at the UC. The Blackhawks battle the Rangers. It's time for the AM 560 Business Beat from the Fox Business Network, a service of Turnkey.pro. Here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, German industrial company ThyssenKrupp says it is the target of a massive cyber attack. The company says technical trade secrets were stolen from its steel production and manufacturing plant design units, though the company is only talking about it today. It says the attacks were discovered in April and were traced back to February. The attacks hit sites around the world, including the United States. Shares of Horizon Pharma have been halted. The company says a treatment in the experimental stage does not appear to be working. The medication was supposed to help people with Friedreich's ataxia, an illness of the nervous system. Americans are shopping more this holiday season. The National Retail Federation is predicting sales will increase 3.6%, a strong pace. The Dow is up 297 points yesterday to another record. NASDAQ up 60, S&P added 29. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
It is 8:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
You need to understand that the way you build wealth is you do not use the evening news or CNN or Fox to set the tone of your emotions around your investing.
The Dave Ramsey Show.
If you're thinking of changing your investing patterns because you're watching the news, you need to turn off the news. You are in charge of your destiny.
Dave Ramsey. Weeknights starting at 7. Presented by Wintrust Community Bank on AM 560. The Answer.
Mike Rowe here for 1 hour. Today, Chuck is jogging in place to make a point about energy efficiency.
I thought I was training for a marathon.
He's been at it now for...
3 minutes.
And already he's wearing out.
I'm not.
Your heating and air conditioning systems are a lot like Chuck.
Warm yet somehow cool?
Wheezing, wasting energy, and probably headed for replacement.
You're talking about the air systems, right?
Sure, pal. Sure. Call 1 hour before it's too late.
Can you do the disclaimer for me?
Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
Thanks.
Men, if you're like me, you appreciate the feeling of a clean, smooth shave from a quality blade. The sort of shave that cuts clean without the burn. So why are you messing around with generic razors that cost $32 for an 8-pack when you can shave with Harry's high-quality German-engineered blades for half the price? And because Harry's is so confident in the quality of their blades, they'll send you their most popular set, complete with a razor, one of their world-famous blades, shaving cream, and post-shave balm for free if you cover shipping. A total value of $20 at no cost to you, with code 1158 at checkout. Their way of saying thank you for trying them. How is Harry's able to save you all this money and still give you the best shave you'll ever enjoy? By owning the factory that manufactures the blades. That's how. Go to harrys.com now and enter code 1158 at checkout to claim your free trial set and post-shave balm. That's harrys.com, code 1158.
It is 8:07. The news is a service of Unbound. A girl in El Salvador dreams of becoming an engineer. No two dreams are the same. Help one person achieve theirs at unbound.org. A check of the roads in our AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Like the inbound Eisenhower is getting heavier. Now an hour and 14 minutes from Thorndale to downtown. It's 52 minutes from Manheim, outbound 44 to Thorndale. Eden's 21 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 30. The Kennedy is 57 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Those delays start at Central. 37 minutes from Montrose, 32 in the Express, outbound 37 to O'Hare. Stevenson, an hour and 5 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound just 35 minutes. Ryan, 42 minutes from 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound, stop and go 120 to past 137. Northbound from Southwest Highway most of the way to 31st. And from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue curve. Adams Tollway bottled up 59 past Higgins where there's a crash. And Elmhurst to Lee, Veterans Memorial. Very slow from I-55 to the Reagan Tollway and Butterfield to St. Charles. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. The latest on the forecast with Ashley Benoit.
Mostly cloudy skies today with a few flurries, windy and very cold, high 25. Mostly cloudy and breezy tonight, low 19. Cold tomorrow with clouds and sun, high 25. And some snow for Saturday, high 24 degrees. I'm Ashley Benoit on AM 560, The Answer.
20 degrees, flurries at O'Hare, 23 along the lakefront. Next news at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Radio Garden Sense, a show bringing your property's gardening needs alive. Radio Garden Sense, Sunday mornings at 11 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Thursday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
We were surprised by the outcome of the election, and I'm not sure what the right analogy would be, but like a punch in the stomach, let's say. Soul crushing might be another description.
I don't think it's appropriate for me to be owning stocks when I'm making deals for this country that maybe will affect one company positively and one company negatively.
They're trying to achieve the American dream, no fault of their own. Their parents came here. They are something we should hold up and embrace.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, and I'm using my understated NPR voice.
Why? We already did.
Because I have a sad story to tell you.
What?
Settle in. Get a Kleenex. Get your binky.
Binky.
Let's get in drum circle. I want to tell you the story of Stephanie Land. Stephanie Land. Okay. She shares with us her story in the Washington Post. In August, I went on 6 dates in 1 week. I had decided that I was ready to look for a partner. Enough of this dating unavailable men a half-decade younger than me. Tell me about it, sister. They'd never seriously consider a relationship with me, my 2 children, or needy dog. No, I wanted to find an equal.
She has 2 children and a dog?
A needy dog, not just a dog. And she's looking for an equal. She's looking to be completed.
Well, she wants to spend her life with another human being. She wants to snuggle and watch beaches. I mean,
she wants a man who wouldn't feel the need to step in and rescue me. Because you know what? Stephanie Land doesn't need rescuing.
No, she doesn't need to be saved.
No.
She's provided for herself and her family and her needy dog for a long time.
But wait.
Uh-oh, what?
I knew deep down that was only partially true. I often felt the sort of loneliness that settled in my stomach. I know that kind of loneliness, Stephanie. Starting from a chaotic afternoon with my children, lasting well into the night when I pulled covers tight around my chin. I've been on my own with my kids for most of the past decade. I have no idea what a supportive partner would even look like in my house. Getting back to those first 6 dates in August, Amy.
Those 6 dates?
6 dates. Of the first 6 dates I had in August, 2 men seemed promising. One of them met me at a brewery. We chatted happily through 2 beers. Finally, I was out of a job interview mode, and I'd fallen into while sitting across from strangers. I relaxed, I laughed. And it wasn't the laugh I did just because. It was real. It was a real Stephanie Land laugh, a real chuckle. We dated for a few weeks before he admitted he wasn't ready for something serious. 2 days later, the other of those good dates
met the children and the needy dog.
Yeah, well, Stephanie took a risk. That's what you got to do in this life, Steph. 2 days later, the other of those good dates called me out of the blue. We talked for a while, and I asked him to dinner. Things were falling into place. A feast was laid out on the table, and it looked delicious.
She asked him to dinner? Desperate, but go on.
Hello. She doesn't need to be rescued, Amy.
Okay.
She can ask a man to dinner.
A little inappropriate.
You're so patriarchal. You're an oppressor.
I'm a traditionalist. Don't ask him to dinner.
But I'll tell you what. Let me tell you something that happened.
What?
Everything veered off track. Are you ready? Are you ready for the denouement?
The dog peed on the floor?
2 weeks later, the election happened.
Oh.
Once it was clear that Donald Trump would be president instead of Hillary Clinton, I felt sick to my stomach. I wanted to gather my children in bed with me and cling to them like we would if thunder and lightning were raging outside, with winds high enough that the power might go out. The world felt that precarious to me.
How did it affect her
I just want you to.
life?
I want you to absorb that.
Okay.
She went on to talk about how her car broke down and she has the means to fix the car, but she didn't have the strength to carry out the chore.
She's depressed.
In the wake of the Trump election.
Yeah. It's hard to do the simplest tasks, Dan, when you can't move your arms because you're depressed.
And then this. That urge to cling to my family while keeping our foundation strong didn't mesh well with continuing to date the man I'd been seeing.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. This is where it breaks.
Oh, no. This is where it gets ugly.
He also has a daughter. He, too, had been feeling a lot of the same emotions I was experiencing because he was actually a chick. No.
Oh,
he's just behaving like one. Hopelessness, fear, uncertainty about the future, panic over having to talk to my 9-year-old about anything that might come up at school or what to do in the instance of sexual assault.
Okay, now she's gone cray-cray.
But I couldn't reach out to him anymore. He was too new, too unfamiliar. My focus had to be on my community of friends that are my family. I need to fiercely love the people close to me instead of learning to love someone new. To reach out to others could weaken the bonds that hold my family together. I can't.
This is why she's still single.
I just can't. There is no room for dating in this place of grief. Dating means hope. I've lost that hope in seeing the words, President-elect Trump. And scene. Thank you very much for my
was it
for appreciation for my rendition. Washington Post. Trump's election stole my desire to look for a partner. That's what Donald Trump has done to poor Stephanie Land and so many like her.
Hey, Steph, maybe there's a reason why you're single, eh? Huh? Or am I being insensitive?
Let me tell you another story.
Oh, my God.
From Jill.
I think we need music behind
Jill Filipovic.
Do you have any sad music?
Jill Filipovic is a journalist in New York. She is in Nairobi, of course.
Well, my friend was in Nairobi.
No, of course.
She was working for the Peace Corps.
She's the author of the...
What's wrong with that?
No, there's not. She's the author of the forthcoming book, The H Spot. Okay, what's that? The Feminist Pursuit of Happiness. Boy, Jill.
There's only one spot, ladies, and you know what the letter is.
Jill, Stephanie could really use that book right about now. Ms. Filipovic, who wrote just after the election that I'm a feminist writer. I'm inundated with sexist harassment and political ugliness more or less constantly. I know the history of women's progress in the United States has been uneven and marked with big setbacks, just as we were on the precipice of real change. This, though, I did not predict. And then she goes on to talk about the gender gap. What she doesn't mention, actually, is the gap between married and single.
What's that?
Donald Trump won married people 52-44. He lost single people by 17 points. Married people has less to do about gender, as we've talked about before, 45% of college-educated women. Married people, as opposed to lonely single people like me and Stephanie Land.
Maybe you could become Facebook friends with Stephanie.
Should I call her? Miss Filipovic writes, why sex is about to get a lot less fun.
Oh, boy.
That's because Trump has tapped Tom Price, an anti-abortion and anti-contraception congressman from Georgia. Price is an opponent of the Affordable Care Act and a proponent of defunding Planned Parenthood. And because he is an opponent of abortion, and public financing of your contraception, sex is going to get a lot less fun because you can't have it recklessly and without consequence, and that's no way to live. I don't know.
You don't know where to begin with it?
I don't know how to reach Stephanie and Jill.
Yes.
My sisters, if you will. But I'd certainly like to.
But they're not ready for you.
No.
Because they're grieving right now.
No, they're not. Mary and Palatine, thank you for calling. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer with Dr. Drew and Amy.
I'm trying to stop laughing. You're just cracking me up and getting my day off to a great start. What I was going to say is too bad Trump didn't get elected before Stephanie had children, because this is a perfect argument for natural selection and social Darwinism. People like her shouldn't procreate.
Thank you, Mary. Yes, I think Stephanie would agree with you. I think, she's clinging to their children, but it'd be so much better if they could all just sacrifice themselves on the pyre of liberalism. Related story, Sofia Vergara.
Oh, yeah. Her embryos.
Yeah, they're suing her.
Oh, the man who was the sperm part of the egg.
He's been removed from the suit. Now it's her embryos that are suing her.
Are you serious?
She's being sued by her embryos.
Well, how is that even possible? But you're all for, right for life. So they create these embryos. Things don't work out with the guy. They break up. And now the embryos are still suing her?
I wonder if the former fiance of Miss Vergara would like to be introduced to Stephanie Land. Sean in Elmwood Park.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't know if I want to talk about the embryos or not, but that kid should really that should be the biggest Trump proponent. He should get a tattoo that says, "Trump made my sex life great again." Talk about dodging a bullet from that pseudo-intellectual, dream-killing, life-sucking woman with cleavage. This kid really should get a T-shirt that says, "I will support Trump no matter what he does." Because here's the other thing that's really funny. That girl is going to find out in the next 4 years what a benefit Trump. All this full panic. Is anyone paying attention? He's got some great appointments. There's no question about it. But he also is embracing all of the things that the Democrats stand for. It's just a little better managed social engineering. So Democrat chicks, please don't worry. Everything will be fine. The money will still keep flowing, and everything will be great. And that kid, don't date anyone that isn't a mute. Don't consider giving a ring to anybody that you meet that has a Democrat T-shirt that isn't a mute, because they've obviously become unhinged.
Thanks for the call, Sean. Going back to Stephanie and T-shirts. I have lost the desire to attempt the courtship phase. The future's uncertain. I'm not the optimistic person I was on the morning of November 8th, wearing a T-shirt with "nasty woman" written inside a red heart. Makes me want to cry thinking of that. Me too. Of seeing my oldest in the shirt I bought her in Washington, D.C. that says "Future President." I repeat, Stephanie, when I say there's no room for dating in this place of grief. Because dating means hope. And all hope is forlorn. Just like Cook County. That's why I don't date. Thank you, Stephanie.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
All righty then there. Today it's cloudy, cold, factor in the wind chill. It's around 0 degrees out there. We're going to have a high today of 25 degrees. But we're going to have to hunker down because it's going to be cold here the next few days and some snow by this weekend. Let's hunker down on the roadways. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Well, Amy, if you can't handle tough traffic, then stay home. It's rough on the inbound Kennedy and the inbound Eisenhower. No time for hurt feelings. The Ike is an hour and 14 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, 52 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 39 to Thorndale. Kennedy, an hour from O'Hare to downtown, 39 minutes from Montrose, 30 in the Express. Outbound 34 minutes to the airport. The Edens doesn't feel too bad, 20 minutes like Cook to Montrose, but outbound 33. The Stevenson, Can get an hour from 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound, it's fine. The Ryan, 38 minutes, 95th to downtown. Eastbound Adams Tollway, it's a solid mess from Beverly to before Barrington Road. There's a crash there on the right shoulder. Northbound Veterans Memorial, slope out into the Reagan Tollway. Butterfield to Roosevelt, Army Trail to 290. Northwest Indiana, still okay. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Here's microbiologist Dr. Kim O'Neill talking about balance of nature.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. They fight against oxidants that damage the cell's DNA, causing mutations that lead to disease. I don't take any supplementation, but I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true, and it's only natural.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Ladies, you work hard. Whether you're a stay-at-home mom, work outside the home, or both, your sacrifices may have affected your appearance. Well, I have some great news. I'm excited to tell you about Bert and Will Plastic Surgery and Laser Center. Childbearing, breastfeeding, weight gain, weight loss, or just normal aging, I know, can affect our appearance. Unfortunately, dieting and exercise aren't always enough. Dr. Bert offers the Mommy Makeover. It includes a tummy tuck, breast augmentation with the new memory-shaped implants. Dr. Will specializes in Botox, neck lifts, and facial procedures. You can uncover the beauty within. Doctors Bert and Will are female board-certified plastic surgeons. Curious? Well, I met them and I love them. You'll receive a free consultation at any of their Chicagoland offices or register for an upcoming seminar. Call 630-930-3555 or visit uncovermybeauty.com. 630-930-3555 or uncovermybeauty.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
So I know we made a $100 bet that
Mitt Romney is still in the running for Secretary of State.
Yeah, Donald Trump was on the Today Show, and I'm feeling pretty good about my choice and about my bet.
Yes, he does. I mean, I've spoken to him a lot. We've come a long way together. We had some tremendous difficulty together, and now I think we've come a long way. But the answer is yes, he does.
So this isn't about some case of stringing him along as revenge
So
being
lame.
a dish best served cold for the comments he made during the campaign.
No, it's not about revenge. It's about what's good for the country.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
There you go.
So I think that
And
I'm
what's
going
good
to
for
win.
the country is John Bolton.
No, John Bolton's not going to get it.
Here's something else that's good for the country. The safety pin box. Black Lives Matter activists have launched the safety pin box. It's a monthly subscription box designed for white people. White people to not only financially support black femme freedom fighters, but also complete measurable tasks in the fight against white supremacy. That's a quote. The group is headed by Leslie Mack and Marissa Janae Johnson. Johnson is one of the Black Lives Matter protesters who interrupted Bernie Sanders during his speech in Seattle last year. Remember, took the microphone away from that doddering old man.
Oh, from Bernie Sanders. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
They took
and
over
he
his
was-
press conference, and he actually looked scared.
He was confused.
Well, he didn't know because one jumped up on the stage and was in front of the lectern, and another person ran to his side, and I don't think he knew what was happening.
Which subscription would you like for Christmas, Amy? There are 4 types of subscriptions offered by the group.
Okay.
So one for everybody. This is the safety pin box. Again, to financially support black femme freedom fighters and complete measurable tasks in the fight against white supremacy. The e-ally box is $25 a month, and it's an electronic form of solidarity. It comes with exclusive calls to action when urgent ally services are needed in times of crisis. An ally is a term used by Black Lives Matter to describe white comrades. Comrades is the right choice of words, too. Then there's the Pin Pals box. That's a box shared by 2 white people for $100 total. Lucky subscribers get a physical safety pin box shipped to one address with guided 2-person tasks for the month, so you get a homework assignment to fight white supremacy. Then there's the Premier Box subscription, which is $100 a month. Now, this includes the physical safety pin box with all the guided ally tasks for the month. And these tasks vary in scope from individual to group assignments, data collection, personal development, influencing your networks, showing radical compassion, which is the very best kind of compassion to show.
Because you can't be compassionate unless it's radicalized.
That's right.
You got to really feel it.
And then the final subscription choice of the 4 is the one-time revenge box. That's $50. Send this box to a Trump supporter, bigot, or white supremacist of our choice. And, of course, those are all synonyms for one another. Trump supporter, bigot, white supremacist. They're saying the same thing.
Got to throw in the Klan.
Yeah. There's a website, with all the kind of guilty white champagne socialists in your circle, Black Lives Matter is bound to make a killing on this. So, again, the eAlly box, the Pen Pals box, the Premier Box subscription, or just the Revenge box that I guess you could send back to me as a Trump supporter. Which would you prefer for your...
Chuck, I'm going to go with the $50
the Revenge box.
Yeah, because it's got a little ring to it.
Yeah.
Stings a little bit.
And it's kind of nice in that it is paying reparations for your sins, obviously.
You have to repent for your privilege. That's what they say.
Well, that's right. I mean, for your slave ownership, your past slave ownership.
We came from Sweden and didn't own slaves. We were slaves to the Norwegians, but that's another story.
We're not interested in facts here. Okay. So you get the reparations paid, but then you're also doing a task. You're also doing one of those tasks that you got to do. Yeah, so it's kind of a twofer there, which is a real nice value in terms of your support for black separatism.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I own a fast food restaurant that was broken into early this morning. They tore the alarm panel right off the wall, and alarm detection systems came in the same day to replace it.
Same-day service is available to all of our customers. Never worry about your security system. Get to know Alarm Detection Systems. ADS is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
I'm living alone for the first time in 40 years, and I'm worried something might happen to me.
Live independently with a medical alert device from Alarm Detection Systems. Setup is easy, and 24/7 emergency assistance monitoring is included. Alarm Detection Systems is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
The website is upstream-ideas.com. At Upstream Ideas, you get premium content that complements what we do here on this show and includes podcasts of selected interviews from this show, includes a podcast of our Illinois Rising program that's Sunday afternoons, an hour-long program that focuses on state policy and politics in Illinois. You get long-form interviews with opinion leaders and policymakers, the likes of Colonel Alan West and Dr. Sebastian Gorka, and newly minted Deputy National Security Advisor K.T. McFarland, and many local opinion leaders as well, like Chicago Tribune columnist John Cass. And you get 60-second commentaries that I do here weekly, man-on-the-street interviews, robust, premium, value-added content to add to what you hear on Chicago's Morning Answer. It's all at upstream-ideas.com.
And coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
there is another documentary out about the state of Illinois. It focuses on those who are served by the state. Stranded by the State is the name of the documentary. We'll talk to the filmmaker at 8:38.
And later, it wasn't a dog, oh no, it was a cat who helped save and stop a criminal. We'll explain. But first, let's crawl into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, President-elect Donald Trump scheduled to visit Columbus, Ohio. He'll thank first responders and meet victims of the Ohio State University attacks. It's a private meeting being squeezed into a Trump tour that takes him to Iowa tonight and Michigan on Friday. $50,000 reward now being offered for any information leading to the capture of a Georgia cop killer. Police believe it was Miguel Lembeck who opened fire on America's Georgia police officer Nicholas Smarr, killing him. South Carolina authorities are searching for an escaped maximum security inmate. suspected of stabbing a police officer as well. South Carolina Department of Corrections says 47-year-old Michael Williamson escaped last night from the McCormick Correctional Institute. Later on, they believe the escapee stabbed that police officer inside a Walmart store in Columbia. She is expected to recover. 2 juveniles are charged with aggravated arson in the wildfires that swept across eastern Tennessee, killing 14. Greg Lake, co-founder of rock bands King Crimson and Emerson, Lake and Palmer, has died after a long battle with cancer. He was 69. One person is in custody after a gunshot was fired at a police officer. It happened on Chicago's Near West Side in the 800 block of South Miller Street early this morning. Authorities continue investigating the death of a 1-month-old boy on Chicago's South Side. The infant found not breathing yesterday inside a home near 66th and Racine. Illinois hunters harvested about 8.5% fewer deer during the 7-day firearms season that ended Sunday compared to last year. White Sox continue their rebuild, sending Adam Eaton to the Washington Nationals in exchange for 4 top pitching prospects, actually 3 top pitching prospects, while the Cubs add all-star closer Wade Davis in exchange for outfielder Jorge Soler, who goes to the Royals. The news is a service of Staples. Staples can take care of all of your personal and business holiday shipping in-store with UPS. 7 days a week with all the packing supplies you need at great prices. Plus, from now until December 24th, get 10% off UPS shipping services. See an associate for details. Staples make more happen. 8:34, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher will always tell it like it is.
He's blasted if he picks people who seem to be regular Washington insiders for his cabinet. And then he picks Ben Carson, the consummate outsider, to head up HUD, and big mouths like me say, well, you know, is Dr. Carson really a good fit? So here I am, part of the problem rather than the solution.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, great coffee, period.
Scoundrels are not exclusive to politics. They're smart enough to occupy necessity service industries like the automotive business. As a real estate broker, my car is a lifeline and a total necessity to my business and my family, which is why I had to seek out an honest, truthful auto service provider. For over the past decade, I've put my trust in Craigies Mobile Service Center on Lake Street in Addison. Craigies handles full auto repair on foreign and domestic vehicles. They pride themselves on providing you the best cost-effective auto repair and expert advice. Craigies has full service bays and truck lifts that can service and manage your whole fleet. They also provide priority service for your business and can track each vehicle, alerting you to the repair before you need it, keeping your guys on the road. Since 1959, Craigies Mobile Service Center has thrived through 10 presidential administrations, giving you reputable, dependable, and honest auto repair. Do yourself a favor. Just go into Craigies on Lake Street in Addison. See my guy Vic. He'll set you up. Tell him Sean from Elmwood Park sent you. I approve of this message.
Townstone Financial is synonymous with great rates, low closing costs, and phenomenal service to the thousands who have completed purchases and refinances with us since 2002. Hi, my name is Barry Sterner, owner of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our customers.
I'm Dave Reef, and I just did a refinance with Townstone Financial. I was particularly impressed with Townstone Financial and the way they work to accommodate our schedule. With both my wife and I working, we really had trouble finding time to get all the paperwork together and sign the documents. Townstone Financial went above and beyond in working with us and ensuring that we locked in the lowest possible rate so we could cash out so we could purchase a new parking spot in our condominium.
Remember, nobody values your business more than Townstone Financial, and I'm always available to answer your questions. Call me now, Barry Sterner, at 312-896-2111. That's 312-896-2111. Or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financials, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois, mortgage license C 6629 and NMLS 136639. Equal housing lender.
8:37. Let's check the roads in our AM 560 traffic center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. CTA Red Line trains are not running between 95th and Garfield. There's a medical emergency at the 69th Street station, so shuttles are running instead. Eden's 20 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 26. The Kennedy, 56 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 40 from Montrose, 31 in the Express, outbound 31 to O'Hare. The Eisenhower, an hour and 15 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 37 minutes. Stevenson, an hour, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound clear. Ryan, 36 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound still heavy, 137 to Dudley. Northbound very slow, Archer to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue curve. But Adams Tollway stop and go, 25 for Barrington Road, and it's also heavy from around the Des Plaines Oasis to Lee Street. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Cloudy, breezy. Quite cold today and a few snow flurries out there, high 25. Currently, 20 degrees at O'Hare. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Financial Planning with Jack Tabota, your 401k specialist, whose goal is to protect, preserve, and grow your wealth. Saturday mornings at 7.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, we've talked about this matter for, off and on for the last 2 years, because that's how long it's been going. Just this segment of the problem that is the state of Illinois, the worst governed state in the nation by almost every quality of life and financial stability metric, and that is the lack of a constitutionally mandated balanced budget. We're under a stopgap budget. Governor Rauner, legislative leaders can't agree on what is next. Governor Rauner issued a release yesterday canceling
today's meeting
with legislative leaders, because saying, well, look, we're just sowing sawdust. Until the Democrats want to present a budget, then there's not much to talk about. We just have an hour meeting. We both come out and restate the positions that we've stated and restated ad nauseum for 2 years, and it's kind of a waste of everybody's time. So the impact of terrible public policy, the human impact, that's always the challenge, right? Because we talk about numbers that are in the millions and billions, and they're difficult to translate down in terms of actual human impact, and that's what public policy all is about, helping or hurting other human beings. So interestingly, there is another documentary that attempts to chronicle the plight of individuals in Illinois as a result of bad public policy. This is produced by Kartemkin Films, which I believe produced Hoop Dreams. Yeah. And it's a web series called Stranded by the State. And we're pleased to be joined by Liz Carr, who's an independent documentary filmmaker and the creator of this web series in conjunction with Kartemkin Films and In These Times, called Stranded by the State. Liz, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
So give us a little bit of the backstory on Stranded by the State and what this web series seeks to explore and highlight.
Yeah, I mean, I think, as the budget impasse has continued to stretch on and on, we see that the most vulnerable people in the state of Illinois are continually hit the hardest by it. And so what I wanted to do with Stranded by the State is to really go across Illinois and talk to the people being affected, the families, the students, the senior citizens, and talk to them about what they see. So I've gone, I've profiled people in Chicago to, rural communities in central Illinois, to Alton, Illinois, more southern in the state. So I've really crossed the state, crossed ages, races, and really, it's hitting everybody.
And so what have you learned, though, about, ultimately how much it costs how much this is costing taxpayers more in the long run when you put off austerity programs?
Right. I mean, I think that's the thing that I found most interesting as I was exploring this series is most of these programs are cost-effective, preventative programs. So if you intervene early, you spend a fraction of the amount. I mean, we're talking 10%, 5%, in some cases, than you would if you just wait. You know what I mean? Because if you don't do preventative counseling, let's say for preventative things, let's say counseling for at-risk youth, you wait, and potentially in 5 years, 10 years, they could end up in jail. They could end up, if they're still young, in DCF residential placement. That's way more expensive than just the initial preventative counseling. Same thing with senior citizens, Meals on Wheels and home health care workers, coming into the home, just doing for an hour a day or something like that. So much cheaper than a Medicaid nursing home, So cutting these programs is ultimately costing more for the taxpayers in the long run, let alone, our kind of moral obligation as people in a society that cares about other people. I think that's first and foremost. We don't want seniors starving in rural Illinois. That's not okay. These Meals on Wheels programs being cut.
Uh-huh.
But even beyond that, it's it also just costs taxpayers more in the long run. So it's really bad every way you look at it.
Well, so Illinois has about $230 billion in total debt. This according to Truth in Accounting, and about $30 billion in assets. So a debt-to-asset ratio of greater than 7-to-1, which is what we call in simple math bankruptcy. And so I wonder if there's any review of all the money that has been expended, particularly with respect to the big systems, K through 12 education, Medicaid, transportation infrastructure, and public sector pensions. That's where about 85 to 90% of the budget goes. And what we have received in terms of value in return.
Well, that's not exactly what that's a big question.
Yeah.
And that's not exactly what in the purview of the series. This is an 8-part series kind of looking at different issues around the states. So, that could be each video is 7 minutes. What you're talking about could be 8-part.
Right.
Hour long.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Thing,
Well,
so.
You know where I'm going, though. It's one of these things where we have to examine inputs, no question, but we have to connect them to outputs, right? What we're getting for what we're spending, whether it's just a specific program within the Department of Human Services or it's some of these, larger systems that I referenced, like K through 12 education. Don't we have to connect inputs to outputs?
Well, I think when you talk about K through 12 education, I'm not exactly sure what you're saying in terms of input output. I just maybe haven't heard it framed that way, but K through 12 education, I think the whole point of educating, there's multiple points to educating, but one big part is that people can get good jobs and become productive citizens,
right?
And but also, then they support their community, and they support their community through, being a good person and working in the community, but also paying taxes. You know what I mean? And kind of creating a community in both ways.
No.
I think,
yeah, I get that. And I agree with that. But I'm just saying, so, for example, you mentioned higher ed. One of that's the aspect of one of the aspects that you cover is higher education. And it's an interesting thing about colleges, universities in Illinois. The state provides twice as much support to Illinois colleges and universities as compared to their conference peers, and yet tuition in Illinois colleges and universities, public, is 25 to 40% higher than their conference peers. So U of I gets twice as much support, for example, but it costs 25 to 40% more for in-state tuition as compared to Indiana for an Indiana resident. And so that's what I'm talking about. I say, well, why is it so much more expensive with a heightened subsidy in Illinois as compared to Indiana or Iowa or Missouri or anywhere else in the Great Lakes? Perhaps there are higher, better uses of this money, like those social services you were talking about.
I'm not sure about what's happening currently. I went to school in Wisconsin. I went to a public university, and it was about the same as Illinois if you were an in-state resident. I was a Minnesota resident at that time. So, I'm not exactly sure about the numbers currently across all of that, but I would say, in the reality, in terms of how much the state puts in and how much there's a trend across the entire country in terms of defunding public higher education, and Illinois is not the worst. They're in the middle of the pack in terms of funding, defunding public higher education. There are some states that have really gutted it, and I think the thing is it's important. We want people to be in the middle class and to, not use public assistance and to become productive tax-paying citizens. And, I think it's like, well, higher education is that last step off that ladder. And, what we're doing right now is we're defunding MAP grants. Low-income students, like, MAP grants are funded right now, and MAP grants are like the state version of the Pell Grants for low-income students. And it's like, that's really their only opportunity to get into the middle class, and so, it's not right what we're doing, and I think it's counterintuitive and counterproductive.
All right, we're speaking with Liz Carr, independent documentary filmmaker, creator of the new web series Stranded by the State, where you follow families, workers, and students living through the Illinois budget crisis. Knowing what you know and revealing what you've revealed in these series, would you want to live in Illinois? Would you want to raise your children here?
I do. I love Illinois, actually. I love Chicago, where I live, and I don't think it's good to just leave if you don't like it. I think it's different if you've lost your job and you can only get a job in another state. You know what I mean? That totally understand. But I think it's important to stay and try to fix it. I really believe in that. So I want to stay here for the long term. If I can, and try.
So you think there's hope?
Fix it. What?
You think there's hope for Illinois and for the lawmakers to get it together?
I do. I think there's hope for Illinois, and I think even in that first episode of public higher education, the great students at Eastern Illinois University in Charleston, Illinois, they created this Fund EIU campaign, and they were really, just to say, we love this university, and we care about it, and we want it to stay, and they created this great movement, and I think that's, I think that gives me hope, that people are out there that care and want to stay and want to work for it. And I think there are people that want to work for it.
By the way, just a point of order on that. I just looked up the numbers, 2015, 2016 tuition numbers. In-state for Wisconsin, $10,399. In-state for U of I, $15,628. So that's that would be 50% higher in Illinois as versus Wisconsin.
Is that UW-Madison?
UW-Madison, yes.
Okay.
These are Big Ten figures. So this is the thing that's frustrating for people that have watched Illinois build up $230 billion in debt while only retaining $30 billion in assets and having all of the big things that government's supposed to do in cardiac arrest and unfinanceable because we just focus on spend. Every time somebody says, I'm not getting the money I deserve, that's a crisis. But it's never a crisis when somebody gets an unbelievable amount of resources and produces nothing for generation after generation after generation, like, say, for the example of Chicago Public Schools. And then, despite all of that taxing and spending, we find ourselves one of the worst states in the nation when it comes to providing services for the developmentally disabled. I mean, this is not something that's happened since Bruce Rauner has been governor. This is not a 2-year crisis. This has been a crisis that has been building and metastasizing for the last 50 years. And now we're at this point where we've really limited our options because we weren't paying attention.
I agree this hasn't happened in the last 2 years. I think, from where I stand, I don't think, some of the things Bruce Rauner has suggested is necessarily the right steps, I think. But, just going back to Chicago Public Schools, my boyfriend actually is a Chicago Public School teacher, and, it's, in terms of output, what you're saying, it's like, I see him, he comes home, he's exhausted, he works really hard, his class sizes are huge, every year he gets less and less support because you cut funding more and more and more, and this has been happening for decades, and so it's kind of this thing where you say, oh, well, they're so inefficient, they're so horrible, they're not graduating students or whatever, but it's like, if you keep cutting funding, they're never going to get better.
Yeah,
less resources.
But
and wait, I just want to.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
His parents are teachers in the suburbs, and he comes from a whole family of teachers, and I think it's a very noble profession, teaching. It's an incredibly hard job that people don't give enough credit to. But I think, and there's more resources in the suburbs, and they actually have more staff. They have like a curriculum director who will then actually help the teachers plan the curriculum, which will then make everything much more efficient and actually give the students a better education. But because you cut funding, you have to cut that position in Chicago Public Schools or wherever, and things become less and less efficient, and kids get worse and worse educations. And so I think it's this flip way of seeing it. It's like, well, let's fund it less, and then expect people to be more efficient. And I don't think that works.
Well, yeah, right. I mean, so here's the problem, and this is why it's so difficult to foster any system change here, because we can't agree on what's actually happening. I mean, I agree with everything you said about teachers. Here's the problem: Chicago Public Schools spends $15.5 per kid. That's about 40% more than in Wheaton, where I grew up. And it's significantly more than most public school districts throughout the state, including in suburban Cook and the Collier counties. So and in point of fact, spending on K-12 education, including CPS, has gone up at a 45-degree angle for the last 20 years. And what do we have to show for it? We're not really doing a better job educating kids, and so many have left. I mean, there's only about 60% of the kids in CPS that were in CPS 50 years ago. So what does that say? It's a great school system that's attracting families? Obviously, it's not. But I wish you luck with this documentary. I'm looking forward to seeing it because I care about these issues. But unfortunately, we're out of time, so I'm going to have to get the last word on that. But Liz Carr, who is an independent documentary filmmaker, the creator of the new web series Stranded by the State, we'll have you back to discuss this and discuss these videos as you come out. I mean, I really want to have a running dialogue on these topics, so we'll definitely have you back.
I appreciate you having me on. Thank you.
Thanks, Liz.
Thanks, Liz, and she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
All right, cold today, a wind chill near 0 degrees, a high of 25. Some flurries on and off throughout the day. Let's get those travel times. How's the inbound Kennedy doing? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Amy, your delay started Foster, 57 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 39 from Montrose, 42 on the Express. They're heavier, and the Ohio feeder's jammed. Outbound 30 minutes downtown to the airport. Eden's 20 minutes, like Cook to Montrose, outbound 24. The Ike, an hour and 8 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 52 minutes. Check that 34 minutes. The inbound Stevenson runs an hour and 2 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Fine outbound. Ryan, 35 minutes, 95th to downtown, Lakeshore Drive. Southbound slow Lawrence to North Avenue and 18th to the Stevenson. Northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Tri-State southbound heavy, 137 to Everett. Northbound Plainfield Road to 47th. Then from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue curve. Adams Tollway stop and go Beverly. Before Barrington Road, Reagan Tollway westbound till 83 to Midwest after a crash. That's traffic, AM 560 The Answer.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. Joyce called to lower her rate and pay her loan off in 27 years. I helped Joyce secure a 27-year fixed loan, saved her $45 a month, and paid all her closing costs. $45 a month might not sound like a lot, but Joyce will apply the savings to her new mortgage payment to pay her loan off in 25 years and save her over $20,000 in mortgage payments. I lowered Joyce's rate, payment, and saved her over $20,000 in mortgage payments. If you want to see if I could help you like I helped Joyce, give me a call at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. I've helped thousands of AM560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage and Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage License D4358, RMLA, NMLS 19186.
This Tuesday through Saturday at Kohl's, only once a year, friends and family save a little more with an extra 25% off, so you can give a little more this holiday. It's time to get cozy, so bundle up for the tree lighting with Madden Girl outerwear, just $39.99. Spread some holiday cheer with girls' festive sweaters for only $19.99. And give a cozy night's sleep with men's sleep sets, just $19.99. Kohl's. Select styles offer valid 12/6 through 12/10. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Hey, let me ask you something. Would you seat your 3-year-old child on a windowsill? Would you seat them beside a lit fireplace or by the deep end of a pool? One last question. Would you seat your child in a car seat that's not correct for them? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Secure their future. Seat them in the correct car seat. For more information, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity. No one attains greatness without risk. After 4 decades in real estate development, Donald Trump knows this. It's true for America, too. Trump broke through in the Rust Belt because he understands something that escaped both effete establishmentarians like Mitt Romney and champagne socialists like Hillary Clinton. That something is not everyone wants to be an entrepreneurial capitalist, and not everyone wants to put their skinny jeans on one leg at a time, throw a novelty T-shirt over their androgynous upper body, and ride their skateboard to some loft space where they code apps all day. And something else. That's okay. It's okay to want to work a diligent, honest 40-hour work week and be able to support one's family and live a comfortable life in so doing. There's nothing wrong with Mike Rowe's world of dirty jobs. But there is something wrong with an entitlement mentality that demands special provisions from the government necessarily at the expense of others. There is something wrong with lambasting a rigged, 2-tiered system right up until you are the beneficiary. Replacing one set of rent seekers for another ensures only that America works for those who don't. What's great about that?
Hi, I'm William Devane. And investing in gold is not about making $1 million. Gold is about protecting what you have for you and your family. And now you can, by taking an existing IRA and rolling it over to a Roslyn Capital Gold and Silver IRA. Like me, you've worked hard for your money and you don't want to lose it now. So protect it against financial craziness in the world by getting a Roslyn Capital Gold and Silver IRA. Just pick up the phone and call the folks at Roslyn. Now you can have an IRA backed by gold and silver, and that'll make you feel a heck of a lot safer. The IRA rollover is just another way Roslyn is helping you protect your assets.
Get your free gold kit featuring premium coins only available from Roslyn Capital, a free silver kit, and an IRA kit. Go to RoslynCapital.com or call 800-299-8200. 800-299-8200. 800-299-8200.
Thank you all for joining us this morning. Do so again tomorrow morning starting at 5 a.m. Now let's check the headlines with Mike Scott.
Dan, here are the stories we're watching at this hour. Mayor Emanuel meets with Donald Trump in New York City. Authorities identify a couple found shot to death in Burbank. White Sox trade Adam Eaton to the Nationals for some major top prospects, and the Bulls host the Spurs later on tonight. Cloudy, breezy, and cold in your forecast. We'll have a full forecast after Fox. WIND Chicago News Time, 9 o'clock.